Let's do this. Unclicked, Corey Martinez. So stoked to have you here. You were like, when we kind of were doing season 1, when I was just by myself, you were one of my, like, kind of the later guests that were like, we're going to do this. And it always fell through between me and you.
Yeah, definitely been a long time coming. Yeah,
but thanks for coming on season 2. We're super hyped to have you. And
happy to be here.
Mid-school to new school legend. You kind of paved the way for a lot of modern day street riding. You really you'd be one of those guys that would go to a spot and just do everything on it. I've seen clips of you riding a kink trail like 12, 15 years ago doing tricks that people would be hyped on now. So
the glory years.
I'd say you're still in the glory years, but congrats for doing so much sick shit. And thanks for coming on today.
Oh, man, it means a lot. Thanks, Dennis.
And you've been in San Diego for a little while now, right?
Correct. Yeah. I think I'm pushing, on the West Coast in general, about a little over a month.
Okay.
Yep.
And then, so what is this trip that you're on basically? So you have your crazy rig that you built yourself.
Yep.
And you kind of just have been on the road for like 3 or 4 months now at this point.
Yeah. Total on the road about just over 3 months. Yeah. I left November. Yeah. 1st of November.
Okay.
And then that whole thing just started. I went to, where did I go? To North Carolina, and then made my way all the way here. So I actually went east from Nashville, and then came all the way to the West Coast. Yeah.
That's huge.
Because it was Seth's birthday weekend, and so I went and rode with him and hung out and stuff like that, and then made my way down this way.
Sweet. Yeah. So let's kind of...
There's no particular thing. It was just, going back to what you're saying, what is this trip about? It's just honestly...
life trip.
Yeah, straight up. Like, I just been going through so much through 2020, and like so many things that were on my mind, and just like... bike riding was like starting to fizzle away from like not riding all the time. And so I had all this other stuff going on, and it's like personal things happen. And so I like finally kind of got my personal stuff correct, got my personal stuff correct. And then I was, all right, I'm going to focus on building this camper out and then really hitting the road. And so, yeah, for the most part, I think 3 months ago, I just finished up the little bit that I had left on the camper and then decided to hit the road. Did a little mini test. In it just to see how I was going to actually ride. Yeah. And then after that, I was like, all right, cool, I'm doing it. And then just threw all the interior stuff together as far as like, it's just a cheap little kitchen sink and stuff like that, a water pump, just to be able to get on the road and just have some sort of funcguing stuff in there.
So and you have your dog with you?
Correct.
Not a small dog.
Chino, large, large Weimaraner.
And I guess I'll pop a photo of the rig just so people can see it. But like, what's life like in it? Like you're obviously sleeping in it and stuff, but off and on, I'm sure, or maybe all the time.
No, I've only been in a actual bed outside of my camper 3 times.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's comfy then.
I love it. Absolutely.
Home.
Absolutely. Yeah, exactly. It's home.
It's
I made it to be
I haven't
home,
seen the inside,
but,
so
it's nice.
You know, it's getting nicer on the inside, I should say.
Yeah.
But when I left, it was just all raw wood. Like I didn't do any kind of detailing work at all. Just some functioning just to get on the road. But since I've got to California, I've been fortunate enough to use the garage and stuff over at Christian's place, and then just kind of do more detailed painting and like hanging up stuff and making a home for everything, so I don't have to get it out and put it, you know what I mean, things like that. That just takes so much time every morning, every night. But yeah, that was pretty much it. Just kind of.
You almost went like the route of like it's kind of like a mini motorhome rather than van style, which is kind of just cool and different. Most people are doing the renovating a van. You kind of turn it into like it looks like a motorhome basically with a small front end and then the big old like your living space is all in the back. It's a different style. You like
it's just a slide-in camper basically. So in the winter of 2019 going into it, I was so curious about all this stuff. I just started researching all these different designs and like actual ones that you can buy and then ones that people made on YouTube and stuff. And it's like getting all these ideas. And finally I just started sketching out my own and then taking bits and pieces from all these other ones that I've seen. And it was like, all right, cool. I see how they do it. I know what's going on. And so I just started designing my own. And it was honestly one of those things, like I've been wanting to do this for so long, like 7-8 years ago, I've been coming out to California every winter.
Yeah. And
so staying, you know, I mean, I would be gone
You've
for months at a time, sleeping in the back of my truck with just a shell on top.
But you made that really cozy too.
Yeah.
Like, it was always like this little mini motorhome
section with all my bike parts and all my clothes and stuff. And then I slept there and my bike was beside me, you know, but.
You just made the ultimate version of that.
Exactly. It basically came to the point where I was like, I'm tired of sleeping in the back of my truck, you know, so I'm going to actually do it properly. And
sleep in the back of your truck.
Life kind of fell into the place and pushed me in that direction and to build something a little bit more dialed.
That's cool.
Let's talk about that whole life shift, because that's me and you had a good conversation on that. The kind of the build between like Corey Martinez out in the limelight, every jam, every video part, every cinema trip, to COVID, being home, this relationship, that you were going to basically kind of start working in another direction, and BMX was just going to be a hobby, which it always is. But you kind of were going towards more like woodworking and starting to do different things, and then you had some shifts.
Yeah. No, it was cool. Like I think just from the relationship I was in going through 2019, I kind of found myself enjoying woodworking a little more, and then opportunities came to where I could help out with some stuff that she had going, and so that kind of expressed a little more of that side to me, and I was like, I kind of dig it, you know. And then money, financially, it was like working out well for me. I was getting paid well.
So she had like a bar or something, right?
Correct.
Like she was, so they were like, oh, we need a deck, and
yeah,
like, I could build
pergolas,
a deck.
anything interior stuff, and it was like,
and with a girlfriend, you were actually like in Nashville, because normally you just have homies rent that house out and you travel the world.
Yeah. Normally, I would be just doing that.
So were you already there, or did COVID kind of set you there?
I was already there, you know, prior to the COVID thing, you know, and kind of going into that, and then.
So you're already settling down the traveling a little bit.
For the most part, yeah. It's not intentionally. It just happened.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because there wasn't much going on anyway, you know. But 2019 was the first year that I skipped winter and never came out to California since I started doing that. And so once that happened, and then like, all right, 2019 was good. 2020 was like, didn't start out well. Christmas and all that stuff was just kind of like personally just didn't go well.
The holidays,
you know?
yeah.
And so
why is that?
It was just like things with the relationship, and then that was really it. And like I felt like I was trapped in different places. I didn't know what I was doing between the woodworking, the relationship, the BMX stuff. You know, like I was just like confused.
Yeah.
And so
lots of questions.
Yeah, and so that was just didn't know what I was gonna do. And then after all that kind of like ended, and I kind of like made it nicer, and then I started focusing on myself.
So what was this, the relationship?
Yeah. So earlier in the year.
So the relationship ended, then the woodworking, was that what kind of like answered your questions? Or
once that ended, because I realized I was kind of doing most of the woodworking stuff just to kind of make ends meet for myself, but then also because we were together, and it was like she needed to feel like she was taken care of in a sense. You know, everyone, if you're in a relationship, needs that. And so financially, I wasn't really providing much on the BMX side of things, not happening anymore. Yeah. So I just kind of was forced into that a little bit, you know, but I enjoyed it, because I even talked to you about it. I was like, I really do enjoy all the woodworking stuff. It's all like outdoor kind of stuff, and I like it, but it was like one of those things after time went on and not being together, it was like, I want to just be me again, you know, and that everyone, anytime you go through that, you find yourself again, and then you move on. Like, I'm sure I'll be in another relationship, whatever. But it's like woodworking I realized wasn't my avenue just yet.
Do you think she was like, so you found this woman that you loved or liked or whatever? I'm not placing words in your mouth. And did you feel like you were changing yourself a little too quickly? I guess
in a sense, yeah. What not? I didn't, because like things happen unexpectedly like that, and I just kind of go with the flow. My whole life I've just gone with the flow, you know, with how things unfold in front of me, which is great. And it was unfolding in a good way, you know. I started doing like outside of all the stuff, the woodworking builds for that stuff, that the bar and all that. I started doing my own thing with my homie, you know, and we started doing all these different gigs and that, and it was great, you know. Income was amazing for a little while, but I just wasn't truly happy, you know, like that wasn't. I would get on Instagram and whatever and see all my friends riding, doing all these trips and still pushing themselves. And I was like, ugh, I want that still, you know.
Still in
that's fucking good.
Absolutely.
So
like, I realized that, you know, I was like, I'm not done yet.
Kind of hard to pull away when, sorry to interrupt, but you were like, you're not at a point where you're like, well, these video parts are hard to make now. I'm not, you know, like you got tricks still. You're learning still. Every time I see you ride, I'm like, dude. I
love it. I love progressing, you know. Like, I don't think I'll ever get away from that. Yeah. So anytime I can still push myself with the littlest things, like I'm going to want to do that. And I just felt like
it's not little things for you still. You're still making dope video parts.
Trying these days. But like, I just felt like that wasn't the avenue for me at the time. And so once that ended.
Was that the spark that ended the relationship? You think like that you're like, hey, I don't want to do this woodworking stuff. There was other stuff going on. Okay, yeah.
Because there was a final straw for us that I was like, I ended up breaking my hand. And it was
one of those
terrible.
things. Yeah.
I've never seen. I've never seen red before in my life.
Yeah, that's an interesting story.
And I've never gotten mad to the point like that with anyone.
Yeah.
And it's like, it sucks to say it, but like, she pushed me that way.
I met her. I met her in England, and she seemed like she was cool, but she seemed
super
like
rad,
she seemed pretty
super
like
smart. You know what I mean?
Kind of
business person, like savvy with all that stuff, funny.
No, she seemed. I'm trying to find the right words, but she didn't really
He's
seem
saying all
like
these nice things, and Fudger's like, well,
she was a hard ass, like so she was a hard ass, and she was a shit talker, and she would like in a fun way, but like in a fun way that isn't like fun, but not in a good relationship.
We were just different, honestly.
Yeah,
at the end of the day,
you know how nice
different.
Corey is.
I know.
She was not nice.
Yeah, she could sit down. I remember at Battle of Hastings, and there'd be a bunch of shit talking BMXers, and she would just
hold
put
her
someone
own.
in their place.
Which is
remember
awesome.
she did that. She did that with Austin Augie.
Yeah, she
and
checked.
then the dude from Australia that was just like messing him.
Beachy,
messing with him the whole time he was trying something. And she didn't like that.
Yeah.
So I was like, I had $1.
Yeah,
back
she
a little
put
bit.
she
I was
put
like,
Beachy in his
she's
place.
badass.
So
It was cool.
Yeah.
I dig it. Like I said, there was pros and cons to the relationship, but it was like at the end of the day we were just so different.
So something happened though that pissed you off so bad you punched the fridge. Broke
I broke my hand, and that's the first time I ever.
And you
done
never
that.
get mad.
Never. I don't get mad,
No.
dude. Like I get frustrated with things, bike riding, whatnot, but I don't get mad at people like that. You know what I mean? Ever.
Even your frustration in BMX is
like,
the chillest.
And
compared
so
to a lot
that
of
was
dudes.
the final straw to where I was like, I'd checked out.
You couldn't woodwork too, correct? So you can't woodwork at this point. You broke your hand.
I could barely hold a drill. You know what I mean? Like,
so then you're just thinking. That gives you right back to your brain where you're like, okay, what the fuck?
We tried to like make it work after that, and I'd realized I was kind of already checked out mentally, and so went through the motions for a little while, and then kind of got out, and then started focusing on myself and really buckled down on the camper because I knew that was my escape. Yeah, that was the avenue I wanted to get, just to get back to me again, get my feet grounded.
You own a place back home, have friends rent it out, so it was like, let's build this camper.
Yeah,
and then you
throughout 2020, after all that happened, I was fortunate enough through homie connections that I got 2 guys in there right now, and then one of the homies' chick lives there too, and so like great people living there, looking after the spot, like looking after my cat. It's like, it's amazing, great people.
Yeah.
So I'm very fortunate for that, to be in a position to travel right now because of that. So
it's really cool.
Yeah.
And set yourself up well to just kind of travel with.
I knew I needed that.
Rent,
I honestly, I worked all year to get to that point.
Yeah.
Like I got my ducks in a row to where like I can feel comfortable enough to leave Nashville and not feel like I'm neglecting things behind there. You know what I mean? And just like being selfish, but like at the same time, it's like I got to be selfish at this point because I need to find myself again.
Yeah.
I need to get my wheels back.
Yes.
And so the whole time I've been traveling, I've just been stopping along the way, riding with all the homies, trying to get my wheels back. Because
I think a lot of people could take note for that.
2020, really, I rode, but I didn't feel like a BMX rider.
And you don't really have like a scene and like your crew of dudes in Nashville, obviously. Like
no, not for the most part.
I'm sure there's still
people,
like a
I
younger
go to the skate
scene.
Park, and there's people I connect with and ride with, but I guess, I mean, no offense to all the riders and homies that I ride with there, but like after Nathan left, I felt like that was my groove, my mojo, you know what I mean? To kind of like meet up with somebody. We were on the same level, same wave, stuff like that. But after he left and moved out here, it was off and on when that would happen. He'd come home and we'd cruise together. And then 2020, nobody did anything, no travels. And that ultimately is what really kind of like put things in motion for me. I was like, I don't like this lifestyle. Like I didn't leave. I mean, I'm sure everybody went through it, but I didn't leave for a whole year except to go to Knoxville a couple times where I was at. Yeah. And then I did one trip to Arkansas to it's a build project actually. I got hired on to do a Red Bull like stage platform thing. For Terry Adams. Yeah, ironic. Yes. For Terry Adams.
I noticed that. I didn't even think about that at the time. That like, that's a little bit weird.
It's interesting. Yeah. I was in the place where I was like, you know what? I'm grateful for the opportunity. I'll take their money. Yeah. So that was it.
Yeah.
Well, I think I feel like there's like a similar theme on the podcast is like because of 2020 is so weird that people are always like, hey, this was a weird year. It gave me time to think and step back and it seems like you use that to realize that like, hey, I need to make some changes in my life for the better.
Absolutely.
And that's like, because you're in a bad situation or something, but then you get to leave for 2 weeks, and then it makes it, like kind of dulls it a little bit.
Or he's probably really talented at woodworking, with the talent he has in BMX. I'm sure he switched over to that really easy. He might have just like without COVID just job, and never even had time to think of like, is this what I want to do right now?
That's really it.
I feel like you would have took off fast.
I really enjoyed it, and I wanted to do something like that because I mentioned to you about it for a little bit, but like. That's what it was. It's like I could have, and it would have taken off, and I really had the passion for it, but I didn't have the heart.
Yeah.
You know, so it's
Yeah.
like I wasn't.
And maybe
timing
just
it
maybe
ready,
the heart
you
for
know?
BMX is just too much right now to
Yeah.
put woodworking, because you're young. Woodworking can be for the rest of your life.
That's what I said. I was
Yeah.
like, dude, I was like that
You can keep
talent
getting-
will still be
Exactly.
there, you know, whatever you want to call it, but like the hobby is gonna be there, but I'm just not.
There's
I'm
a
not
huge
ready.
part of you in the way right now
Yeah.
with BMX and filming
Absolutely.
and progressing
Just
yourself.
bike riding in general. Like
The lifestyle.
I want to be on a bike riding different places all the time, and like I think I just randomly enough I was talking with Taj through Instagram, talking about some stuff he was saying about watching my travels and things. He's about to get an RV and start doing stuff like that, and I was just wow. I was like, holy smokes! I'm talking to Taj through Instagram anyway, but.
I do the same thing. Anytime Taj, wherever the book is or something, like Taj's book, he sends it and he like writes it to Canon. And like my son, and I'm like,
yeah.
like
it's
Timmy.
funny.
Starstruck
It's
all
funny
the
to hear
time.
you like. There's a
Timmy.
generation you're starstruck by, because
Yeah.
my generation, you are like, holy shit, Corey Martinez, and you're like Taj, and who's Taj like talking to on Instagram right now?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Talking to Jay Mir on.
Yeah, right. I know.
But it's just wild just talking to dudes like that about travels, and he's wanting to do that, and I don't know. I just felt like it was like the time for me to still just seek bike riding no matter what. Like I wasn't there yet, you know. So like that lifestyle of just being able to do what you want when you want. I'm fortunate enough to have still had that lifestyle, you know. So I knew I was like fading out of that, but I was like, I'm not done yet. So I had to pave my way to get back to that point. So that's where I'm at now.
That's
Hell
good.
yeah.
And fight for it a little bit
Yeah,
more.
absolutely.
That's fucking
And I'm hyped. I'm like,
Yeah.
it's been the most therapeutic, adventurous time that I could have ever done. You know, like this has been so nice for me. It's just feel like a BMX rider again, I guess.
That's
you know?
cool.
So,
Yeah.
And just at such low overhead, you got your stuff going on back home, and you got your dog with you, and you
Yeah.
got your house on wheels. It's like,
Yeah.
what do you got to do but think about besides have fun, stay healthy, and shred?
Yeah.
That's a good life.
That's really it. And I knew like with being out here, like I had a project to finish up with Christian that I'm really excited about. And then there's one more cinema project that I got to work on while I'm out here too. So that I don't have home. You know what I mean? I don't have anything going for me out here.
Unless you
dude,
like have a filmer sent
know.
out to you, and then that's such another overhead on your sponsors,
Exactly.
where it brings pressure in.
Because
it's
me and
just
Will
like-
have talked about Will Stroud for doing things like that because he's in North Carolina, so he could come to Nashville pretty easily for like a couple of days, but it was just timing and budget and all that stuff, and so
and just when you have a couple days, like no matter how good you feel, like those couple days, shit can
I'm not a
happen.
couple day type filmer, that's for sure. It
Yeah.
takes me a couple days to do 1-2 tricks.
Yeah. No, I get it.
But it's like I enjoy that no matter what. If I have an opportunity to film with somebody, I want to do that.
Yeah.
And so out here it was open opportunities to kind of fulfill that. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's why
Understandable.
I've been enjoying this time out here. Amazing. Like,
Yeah,
the whole
really
time It's been
cool.
amazing.
Stoked for you. You know, I think a lot of people could get stoked on that because it's so easy to get stuck in a rut, no matter, you know,
Yeah.
no matter what it is. But it's like, you know, people out there listening to your story, it's so good to just understand what you really want to do and what you love in the moment, and take the time to think and figure it
Dude,
out.
Absolutely. I encourage everybody, if there's something that you truly want to do, like take time and put it into play. Like make
Yeah.
sure like build your avenue to that, man, because it's worth it. Like if not, then you're just going to always be wanting that and seeking that and not doing it. So
Mhm. Cool, man.
yeah.
Let's talk about your upbringing, because that's another pretty interesting story in your life, and I don't think people like have talked to you too much about like the beginning, not like like maybe so to say like riding in general, but like your
Yeah.
actual growing up with your parents and everything.
Yeah.
Alabama,
Al-
like that's a place a lot of people don't even know about. Like that's a state that people don't just like, I'm gonna travel to Alabama to check it out. Like that's
Right.
kind of a state you're from, or you know somebody there or something. You know.
Down south, a state that people
get-
always
get-
talk about.
Gonna get hate comments about
Oh,
Alabama. now.
there's nothing wrong with it. I'm just
No.
saying it's like not like I'm
It's
going.
not a travel
If you're from
destination.
Europe or
Yeah.
something,
Not
you're
very
not
much.
gonna be
Yeah.
like, I'm going to
No.
Alabama to see
There's
it. It's
nothing
like
to pull you down there.
Unless you know somebody
Space
or-
and Rocket Center, that's about it.
No.
You know,
okay,
stuff
some,
like that.
Some space people take the tour.
You go down to the south and like Mobile, go to the beach, you know, things
Yeah.
like that. But
I'm sure it's great.
yeah, no, I was born and raised in Alabama till I
Decatur.
was like, Decatur, Alabama. Till I was about 22, 23, and then end up moving to 26, moved to Nashville. And then been in Nashville for 10 years. But the upbringing in Alabama was great. Like met Seth Kimbrough, you
Yeah.
know what I'm saying, at the age of like 10 and a half, 11, I want to
Wow.
say. So him and I actually met in the roller skate rink through a mutual friend.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Seth Kimbrough, such a legend.
Bikes. So
Absolutely.
did you guys even ride bikes at that time?
So yeah, we were bike riders. That's how we met through a
Oh,
mutual friend.
okay.
At the roller skate rink, we had been going all the time, and then I'd raced with a friend's cousin, and they were like, "Yo, you got to meet this guy that comes to the skate castle all the time every weekend. His name is Seth, and he rides too." And so I finally met him at the roller rink one weekend, and then instantly
you guys just locked chain
dude,
wallets
it was
and just loved ever since.
Instantly, we became best friends, and I was at his house every weekend.
Rad.
Hell yeah,
And you and
awesome.
Seth are the same age. I remember learning
he's 6
that.
months older. Yeah,
Six
That's
months,
crazy
yeah.
because, you know, as a guy looking up to you guys, I always thought Seth was like a generation above you because he just blew up a little faster.
He was a couple years before me with all the BMX stuff, definitely. Because, like, he's always been my big brother, you know what I'm saying, with that kind of stuff. I looked up to him for all of that, you know. Even still to this day with, like, personal things outside of bike riding, you know, so.
He's real dialed, huh? Like
100%.
Seems like he's always got his shit together and, like,
he's
moving in a good direction.
He's got a good head on his shoulders
Yeah.
for, like, knowing what to do with things, you know, for sure. But, yeah, we grew up together and grew up with riding amateur contests. And then in 8th grade, my mom passed away. And then that was where his mom and I kind of like became more included in his family. I still had my dad, you know, I was still going home, but like his mom became almost my mom, filled that void, you know, in a sense. And so like she was taking us to all the races, and then once amateur contests, CFBs and all that stuff started happening, she was taking us to all those and stuff like that. So we grew with the sport together.
So you guys really grew together.
Yeah.
Wow.
And coming from Alabama, it wasn't for these contests, we would have never learned. We would have never had the opportunity to ride new things, you know, because we didn't have a lot growing up. And so we had one skate park that came up, High Wheels, and that was our first actual sponsor, actually.
Mm-hmm.
And then we grew from that. We just like started learning and pushing each other, and then started traveling for all these AM contests, and not knowing, you know, a lot of people think, like, ask, like, how do you become a pro BMX rider? Like, how'd you get to do this? And I was like, dude, I didn't know. Like, neither of us knew. We were just like taking advantage of like opportunities to go ride with people. And then we saw, you know, dudes riding these contests that were pro, and it's like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. Like, I remember riding in Virginia, I think it was. Garrett Burns taught me how to do a wall ride out of a quarter to wall into a bank, you know, and I was like riding AM, and he was doing pro stuff, and Garrett Burns taught me how to do that. Changed my life.
That's amazing.
Knowing how to do wall rides out of a quarter to a bank, a quarter wall to a bank.
I feel like that's always a good crazy recipe when like there's two just shredders from the same town and they don't realize how good each other is, and they're keeping up with each other, learning from each other, and then they get out of their town, and then it's like, oh shit, we're like
they don't realize that it's special.
We didn't know anything. We were just riding.
Those scenes always create the most talented dudes because they're just surrounded by talent. You know, it's I think being by yourself, it's a lot more rare to. For
sure. No, I'm very fortunate to have had Seth, you know what I mean, kind of be there with me, and like we've definitely pushed each other.
So
awesome.
And you guys didn't, like, obviously you guys are both street riders, but you guys didn't have any spots. Very few spots, I guess.
Well, you guys are kind of ramp riders.
When it forced us to become more ramp riders, I guess, like small ramps, you know, when the skate park came around, you know, but like we had like maybe 4 handrails in our, you know, both of our towns that were good enough to like grind, that were like good, you know, that you could push yourself on. But we didn't have a lot of street spots. So that's when traveling started taking off. It was like learning that you could see other spots traveling too, you know? So yeah. I remember going to a contest, North Carolina, and me and BF, it was after we'd done a contest, and it was like I was so hyped on riding new stuff, me and BF, and just went street riding, and we'd rode this like bank to like electrical box for like an hour, you know, like things like that. Like I started taking advantage of my travels for these contests to ride street spots at that time.
That might have like stoked him out even more because so many people, you know, say you're from Barcelona and then you go to San Antonio or something, you're like, the spots in my town are better than this, you know. So like you just like bank to electrical box, fuck yeah. When most people just pass it up, you're like, I'm gonna get down on this thing because I never seen something like this. Like
all of the new stuff like that was just like spot hype to me. It's like I was down to ride anything.
That's cool.
Yeah,
I thought I remembered something about how you guys only had like a couple of like, you know, a lack of spots kind of like was a foundation for, you know, being so good at certain
what it sounds like.
Yeah,
sessioning these same spots in the skate park.
That's all we had
with this other really
you know?
talented dude.
Yeah, like we had spots, but like we didn't even. I don't know. We didn't know what spots probably were at that time. You know, we were just riding stuff that was around our town. You know, but like now looking back at it, we had like a couple good classic spots. You know, and I look back and like that's definitely what helped us grow. You know, push each other with those spots. You know, like the famous bank to sub in Sesstown, Hartselle.
Yeah.
You know, where he did the fakie
on the pole.
pillar. Yeah. that spot is still around, and then like forever. Like you can still go there today and probably learn something new. Yeah, it's crazy.
If we posted that clip today, people would be like, "Fuck, that is so
definitely should post it.
Yeah. Fuck, maybe I should.
So your area too is like kind of. I remember you had like a big Jesus sticker on your helmet when I first started seeing you riding.
Oh,
is
yeah.
it pretty? It's like the religious area of America.
Yeah, definitely down south, the Bible Belt.
It's just what's normal.
Yeah, growing up, and for me, like going back to you asked the question like how was it growing up? Is like that was really what was presented to me at that age, and I didn't know any different, kind of thing. And so it was Seth's parents that got us into the more religious church group type thing, and ultimately saved me. It saved me, it saved him. You know what I mean? Because like, didn't know what we were doing, in our life, but that gave me something to look forward to guide me. And then the church took me in as like part of their crew, and then eventually I was like. So when they were sending out, I'm very grateful because they were taking special offerings, almost every couple weeks to help me get to a contest.
Oh, really?
Dude, it was.
You're like
wow.
sponsored
they would
by
take up
Christianity.
Yeah, the church was sponsoring.
That's
me,
cool.
You know what I mean? Because like I think I just started to ride for Standard probably when that kind of stuff happened.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't have travel funds, and then it was like they were saying they would reimburse me, things like that. But I was like getting like I don't know, I think maybe $500 or something from Standard, which is amazing back then.
Yeah.
But I was really in debt with a credit card because I'd like tried to go somewhere, and it's like I was young and didn't know, and I just started spending all this, and I couldn't make the payment.
Just
and
living.
Started,
Yeah.
And I was making $500. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I couldn't pay this credit card, and then they were saying they're going to reimburse me for all the bike fees and all that stuff, and I was never getting reimbursed, and so the bills just started collecting.
Fuck.
At a young age, that's when I started
Yeah.
feeling credit card debt.
Yeah.
So eventually I kind of had that taken care of and started moving on. But yeah.
So wait, the church didn't end up paying?
So
the
the church
that wasn't paying.
Standard. Yeah,
Okay,
it
all
was
right,
standard.
all right.
It
The
wasn't
church was
reimbursing.
funding
The
you.
Yeah,
church
yeah,
was
yeah.
getting
Okay.
me to the they were taking up special
Oh,
offerings.
all right.
And they were like $250, $300, $400
Yeah, that's
sometimes,
amazing.
and it's like I'm so grateful for that because I wouldn't have been able to go to these contests, you know what I mean, and have food money and flight and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I was able to do that through that,
That's cool.
I was like their ambassador, kind of thing.
So like there was a time period obviously where you were repping, like outwardly religious. And then I think, there was, I guess like you and Nathan were similar in that sense, and Seth too. I wasn't originally
I mean, it was
lumping.
Seth the reason why I got into it.
But like you guys all kind of got married real young.
Yep.
And kind of did like the Christian.
Seth got married young too.
Yeah.
So you all
Okay,
three
Seth
have got
got
married really
before-
young and divorced.
Before we did,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
That's
so
crazy. All three of you guys from the same area. That's kind of why I
It's
brought
just
that
the
up. because
Bible Belt type thing. It's like, and us
Yeah,
not
is that-
knowing.
you're
it's like,
supposed to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you just you find the love of your life and you build a family,
Yeah.
type thing, and then that's it, So
Do you
it's
think-
like
Oh,
the Christianity kind of it helped you so much in the beginning, and I'm sure the things you learned from it were amazing. But then kind of like BMX gave you this other outlook, maybe because most people probably stay in that Bible Belt, do that first love, get married, just do it like how you're supposed to do it by the book, and that's just how it works. But maybe you were kind of like going in different places and seeing different people, not just like the Bible Belt. Did that like kind of change your perspective on like maybe I shouldn't just stick with this?
Over time, yes, I would say it definitely like I started seeing things differently. Excuse me. But it was honestly like once I had gotten married, and then started traveling, and then like seeing what what I mean, because like when I was younger, before all that, going on road fools and all those things and seeing people go party, none of that mattered. I had no care at all, you know what I mean, at all. Like I wasn't condemning or nothing, but like literally just wanted to be on my bike. So me and Seth would just ride all night. That wasn't an interest to us. And then it was after I think I got married and started traveling and things like that, and she was kind of, I'll get it a little personal, but she was exposed to the drinking side of things. And then I was like, well, if you really care about it and it's something that, you want to do, then I should probably check it out, because I didn't start drinking until I was 27.
Yeah.
And so I was like, well, I love you enough that I want to see what this is about. And so let's see where this goes. And then, I was like, I'm glad I did that because I can have I could be more open-minded. That's what allowed me to be more open-minded and not be condemning all my peers and my friends. Because I do look back and I realize like I kind of boxed those people. You know what I mean? I didn't want to be a part of that scene, that group. And I realized that I was like, I'm not I don't really, they're not my friends, you know what I mean? It's like taking away from my friendship with them, you know? So it was like me and Chris Doyle would just sit back in the hotel and just be squares, you know? So, but and it's not a bad thing. I look back at it, I'm so grateful for that. But it's like, because I went through all of that, I'm more open-minded. I can actually drink now and then control it and have a better understanding of that lifestyle, you know?
So what age did you get married?
22.
So not super young.
No,
because like Nathan
was 22 and she was 18.
Oh, okay.
So she was young.
Yeah. So do you think the lifestyle, kind of the BMX pro lifestyle, etc., is harder to maintain a marriage at a younger age? Because obviously, like, Seth had a similar thing. Nathan had a similar thing, and even Will, you know. So like you guys, I remember you guys kind of half joking, like
Will Stroud too.
Divorce Squad,
dude.
basically.
I was on the Cinema Market trip, and it was like you,
yeah.
Nathan, and Stroud all just broke up with your wives. You were like Club Corey lining this up, like, dude, we got a club, we're going to. You'd have like outfits. I was like, what the fuck happened to Corey? Stroud started chain smoking cigarettes. Nathan was going on dates. I was like, whoa, like this crew's crazy.
That's when,
all of a sudden.
Tinder was popping off, all that stuff.
Yeah, Will asking me for a Tinder profile.
I like
every
purposely.
single day.
I like purposely.
Shout out to Will.
I purposely like made sure we had a hotel way off the strip,
Yeah.
and these guys were still like Ubering over to the strip. I was like, no, like we're supposed to stay away from the strip on this trip. You guys are like, we got to get back over there.
I remember us just going to the hotel and I don't even know, some crazy like pool hotel, and it was just living. We were living. It was amazing.
Yeah, so cool though. I see.
You gotta have those moments.
But it seems like just going to that lifestyle. Like,
try it out at least.
Did your ex-wife struggle with you being gone and like not being in this, because you guys are, you know, young Christian living in the South? You're supposed to be doing it as certain. This is your path.
Yes. Yeah. I think she definitely went through it a lot more than I noticed. You know, for sure. It was to the point, like, that's probably what like kind of like led us to separating more, is because she felt like she didn't have a life and she was just kind of doing
waiting for you to come home.
What my life was, you know, which is, you know, she traveled with me a majority of the time. Yeah. She went to Singapore, all these different places, you know what I mean, England all the time. We went to contests all the time together, but it was my lifestyle, not hers, in a sense, you know. And at a young age, I can see why that would affect somebody, you know, because like after a period of time, you're like, well, what am I supposed to be doing, you know? And then we weren't having kids. We weren't, you know what I mean? We weren't going that route.
Yeah.
And she was like getting more into the yoga stuff and the fitness things. And so that was her avenue. And then, I think we kind of just started growing apart after that, and that was really it. And then finally, like, some stuff happened, and then I was, like, kind of forced to say no. It's like, we can't make this work.
Yeah, no, it's understandable.
So.
What sort of effect did that have on you? Like, when that all, you know, like, you're all right, now I've been married for 5 years. I'm now 27.
Almost 8 years.
I'm better looking than ever.
Well, I was 27 when I started drinking. We were together.
Oh, yeah. All right. Yeah, you guys were married for 8 years.
Yeah, I was like 16 or 17 at Simple Sessions.
Like, I was like 29 or something like that. Like, just turned 29 when we had separated.
Yeah.
I remember going to Simple Sessions and like, who's that? And they're like, that's Tinez's wife. I was like, damn, BMXers can get hot wives. This is fucking sick. Even better than I thought. Like, I was just like my first big contest, and I seen her, and I was like, that's Tinez's girl.
That's
damn.
Hilarious. That's awesome.
Doing it.
She'd love that. That's hilarious. But no, it was like, I think it definitely had a big effect on that, growing up at such a young age, traveling and not knowing what a marriage is supposed to be. You know what I mean? Nobody knows. Obviously, you create it as you go through life. But yeah, that definitely had a toll on our relationship for sure at a young age, doing that.
Any advice?
Do what you want to do.
Everyone's different.
Do
what you want to do.
I always think if I was married, if I was married at like 22, like the person I was when I was 22 was not capable of maintaining
the girl you would have married at 22.
Oh my god, yeah. So,
well, see, I even started
dating
late, you know what I mean? Because I was just traveling with BMX stuff, and I didn't care about relationships or females, and so, and after we split up, and it was like, I was exposed to a whole nother lifestyle, you know. So it was
that's the hard thing about the whole Bible Belt thing.
That she was my first.
There's so many amazing things about it.
Everything.
Yeah,
you know? Like, I was a virgin until we met. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying. The whole religion thing. There's great aspects to it, but that one's a little bit like fuck. Like, did you really have to sign that paper? Because when you guys realize you're probably over this is like so much more than just a relationship when you get married.
When we were like officially like divorced and all that stuff, it was like that's when I was like, this is where I'm supposed to be. I felt like I could chase my career a little better, a little harder, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Things like that. And then I just started focusing on travels and just really bike riding more. That's really it, instead of like a life at home, you know.
So this whole thing you've gone through throughout 2020, you've already, like kind of already done it. This is like another.
Oh yeah.
You're used to this. Here we go again.
I just think it's.
It's not a good thing.
Is Club Corey coming back?
Yeah. Club Corey's been gone.
Clubs are shut down.
This is about as close as Club Corey gets.
Yeah,
right. Drinking a banquet in the middle of the day. Club Corey's still around a little bit.
It's chilling day.
I remember going to Nora Cup and you and your buddy Tony, I think it was your old roommate or something. He was super cool. You guys were like dressed up. And I was like, Tina's is so on one nowadays. I love this.
Yeah, we were ready for it. Anytime me and Tony get together, we have fun for sure.
Yeah, he's cool. He's a rollerblader.
Yep.
Hell yeah. So,
shout out to Tony Woodland.
I literally, I was just scrolling through Facebook today, and his buddy Tony popped up on an ad on Facebook.
Really?
Like literally just an interview with him, like, and it's about him rollerblading, like a fashion
just
thing,
breaking
like,
down who Tony Woodland is.
That's sick.
Literally just like Tony Woodland. I was like, screenshot, send it to Corey. So it's cool.
Bladers are dope. I don't really
Will
know how
Blunt
to see it. Any new
sent
age
me something
blading,
yesterday. It's like, yo, just saw Tony. So like everybody's getting hit with the Tony ad right now.
Yeah.
I love it.
That's cool.
No, it's been a long time coming for him. For sure.
That's awesome. So I feel like I'm trying to stay there a little bit. I'm trying to stay there a little bit, but like I feel like when I hung out with you in Long Beach and like definitely Party Corey, but like was there
Club Corey.
Yeah, Club Corey, sorry. With 2K. So, Club Corey. Like, you know, you're here, you're, you know, religious, you know, and I guess that's a good, let's say, are you still religious in any sense? Are you spiritual? Do you believe, you know, like
I definitely believe in a higher being, but I think, you know, like my lifestyle has changed, you know, and it's like growing up, I felt like I was in a box specifically to live a Christianity lifestyle. And once I got exposed to life outside of that, I found my balance and who I am, you know, kind of thing. And so I don't want to say I am this certain person because I feel like that, again, and I'm not bashing Christianity or religion.
Organized religion is difficult.
Yes.
It is a difficult thing because even within that, there's certain rules that you're supposed to follow and beliefs, and it's just...
Yeah, and like I said, I'm forever grateful for my upbringing with a church background, all that stuff. Yeah. But I also like realize I have to live my own life in the way that feels comfortable to me, you know. So okay,
so you're going, so you were here, you're on, you know, religious, you know, not having sex until I'm married, and then you are now here, but then you swung. You definitely swung a different direction for a little while. So
from one end of the spectrum to the other.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So what was there a point where you're like, oh, I'm going a little too, you know, like I'm partying a little bit too much, or I'm like, hanging out with too many nice ladies.
Nice ladies.
You know.
No, I mean,
nice lady.
Honestly, like when through the midst of all that, I was probably just living in its glory because it was like the first time ever experiencing all that.
That's what I mean. Like,
but it was good. But like, I think now looking back at it, it was like I've done that. You know what I mean? Now I want something different. You know, kind of thing. I don't really care for that anymore. You know, this type of stuff, that lifestyle. Yeah. But there was never a moment. I mean, there were definitely moments where I was like,
I think I lived a couple.
What is even happening right now? But,
there was definitely a time period, Dennis, where Dennis or Corey was like coming out of the marriage, and he was definitely like, you know, Club Corey, and I just remember just being like, did you see her boobs, Corey? Oh, you know, like, and he would actually like get flushed, you know, like, because he, you know, like it was still like,
it was all
like,
fresh to me.
Yeah,
like,
so it was like a 19-year-old or like even younger, you know, like
did you
just
see her?
Because
you saw her boobs?
Yeah,
like you know, like, so, like, you know, just like playing with him, but he'd actually get like a little flushed and like a little embarrassed. I think he's happening right now.
Maybe. It's happening. You guys are getting me.
Because you just started over. That's the crazy thing. Like you did all the stuff that a lot of people do, you know, in high school and stuff. But you're from this really religious area.
With a lot of that stuff, you know, just in life in general. So
which might be even better because you have more of a wise soul to not like get the like blackout puking in your like where you're sleeping shit. Yeah. I don't know if you did that, but I didn't ever seen you get that far.
I never saw that.
Some people might have seen it, but
so we did do that. So maybe it doesn't matter what age, you're still gonna do all that shit.
Yeah. He's like 27 years old. Like, I've had 6 beers.
Too bad, Dan.
Well, I'm glad you know, that's part of the fucking story. You know, in a sense of you start here,
nothing wrong with it.
You know, like you experience life to its fullest, and you have to try things out to see like, 100%. Hey, this is what I like. Yeah. You know, so that's,
and at a young age, that's what
it.
I didn't know.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
So I learned the best way possible.
Yeah.
You know, living it.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Is your dad still around?
My dad, yes. My pops is still around. My mom is not.
So is your dad like? Is he still super religious too? Is he kind of bummed that you're not religious, or does he give a shit
anymore? Neither of my
anymore?
parents were really like.
Oh yeah, because it was Seth's family.
It was Seth's family that got me into that stuff.
Well, Seth's family bummed you're not religious anymore. I'm joking.
I mean, to be honest, Seth's dad just passed, so he texted me this morning. So like,
fuck.
Yeah.
Today?
Yeah, yesterday maybe.
Oh man.
So, but
shout out to Seth and the family.
Yeah.
I literally, I wanted to talk more
more
about Seth.
But no, his family has definitely like always been supportive, and that was where that kind of guided us to like that lifestyle, you know, for sure. But my parents, my mom, you know, like she was wild. She was a raging Cajun, you know, and my dad was just a boss Mexican, you know what I mean? That just
is your dad bummed that you don't speak Spanish?
So I'm bummed.
Martinez.
I'm bummed on my parents for not teaching us Spanish growing up.
Yeah.
Because my dad is completely fluent.
Yeah.
But
is Cajun? What's Cajun?
Louisiana. So she's from Louisiana.
So they have it's
Cajun
like that place
just
where it's hard to understand them talk, right? Yeah, I've been down to
just like
Baton Rouge.
seem to have a little attitude and certain. You know what I mean? It's just like
what is Cajun? Though? Is it like sorry to go off topic? Is that like French people? What isn't Cajun like? They speak a whole different language.
I don't know the background of everything with the Cajun, but I just know it's like Louisiana lifestyle.
I always wondered about that because like the accent gets so strong and there's different words.
Obviously, it comes from that like the Cajun spice and things like that. You know, it's like I think it's just a joke that people say, but
I literally have a story about that in like Louisiana or something. The AC broke and it was crazy hot. We stopped at a mechanic shop. Could not understand the person.
No, yeah, it's like
literally I was like. Staring at him like
he just spoke another language.
For sure, that's what I'm saying. It's weird. I went there one time. I was like, they're speaking a different language. Like in the cab, I was like, this is crazy over here.
Terry lives in.
They're actually really nice people though.
Oh, straight
like
up.
the nicest people I've ever met almost.
I don't know what they were saying, so they could have been nice or rude.
All right, we went way off there. So. Dad's a Mexican, your mom's Cajun.
Yep. But yeah, like neither of them were very religious growing up at all.
Okay.
My pops was like always supportive. Both were supportive. My mom was actually one of the first ones to take me to a BMX race. And so from the beginning, getting a bike, they've always been supportive to it. It was like my first bike, I was 10. Then my dad came home from work and I think he'd stopped at like a flea market or something, you know, and he just picked up a BMX bike. Literally just said BMX on the down tube. That's all it was. Like there was no brand. It was just said BMX. And that was what started it all. From that, I just started jumping the ditches and the curb cuts in the neighborhood, and then met a couple other kids, and that's when I met the neighbors. They said, hey, you got to meet my friend Seth that comes to the roller skating rink, and then it just kind of spiraled from there.
Yeah.
So
and then Nora Cups.
And then Nora Cups next weekend. Let's what the fuck happened to Red Bull?
Well, let's hold on. Let's because of the intro, because of Gary's podcast. So Gary turned down a Red Bull offer because he doesn't like bubbles, essentially. And the rumor is that you got the offer. You got the money.
Okay, so they were picking a dude back then, and it was you and Gary were the young new superstars of BMX.
Which is great. I didn't even look at it like that at the time. You know,
I don't
nuts. Yeah. But I guess it was just something that had been on the radar with those guys, and I didn't even realize it. But it was a toss-up between me and Gary. Yeah. And Gary
made the decision real easy for him.
And, and for me, it was funny enough because I hadn't drank carbonation since I was 16. But I wasn't turning down this opportunity, you know? And I didn't know that Gary had been hit up at that time at all. But I stopped drinking carbonation when I was 16. Yeah. It was like, I didn't care about that. Yeah. But yeah, so that's what happened. Yeah.
You saw what they were doing, though. You're like, this is a new check. This is an opportunity. Fuck it, let's do it.
Is when I signed.
Yeah. So was it like because I think his offer was $2,000. Was the same for you? Was it $2,000 in the very beginning too? Or do you remember?
I don't know. It might have been about that. Yeah. Yeah, something, but somewhere around
there. He's from the middle of the country. We'll cut a little bit off.
Oh, yeah.
Probably so.
Something.
Yeah. He's not California based. Like, money doesn't matter as much.
We'll keep it over here. But yeah, so you had my very beginning memories of you, like you had the sickest Red Bull helmet. You were like the only dude.
only one.
You had
with
a
the
silver
black
helmet. I was like, this
black
guy
helmet
is
with
just
silver Red Bull.
He's doing what he wants with Red Bull. Like, how big time is he?
For that, rather?
For not really fight it. It was just like an option, and then I was like, absolutely. Yeah.
Oh, it looks so cool.
I was like, yeah, I want a black helmet with silver, Red Bull.
Yeah.
When you had that shit, Metro Jam days, you were just like, you still are, but that was like Corey Martinez. You were a god, like in everybody's eyes in BMX.
Those were the days for sure.
Dude, yeah. So, you had a good run with them, did some cool shit.
Yeah,
and then,
11 years.
Yeah, 11 years.
11 years with Red Bull.
And then I remember me, you, Matthias, Christian were at Woodward, and we're like,
that was it. Like
very confused on what happened.
Starting 2017, because I came out here the winter of it was January 2017 that I'd come out here.
Yeah, that was like
went to Woodward.
Yep.
And that was the first year not riding for Red Bull, and it was just kind of awkward. It's like didn't know what to do, and it's like I remember I had the helmet and I spray painted it at Woodward.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to make a thing about it. I didn't want to make a post. I didn't want to make an announcement and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I just kind of let it fizzle out.
Totally.
Because I didn't care. You know what I mean? I'm not.
Yeah.
Like I definitely cared. Like because I was bummed that it was like a transition for me, and then it was like I definitely fought for that. You know, like it was almost 2 months went by going back and forth with this guy, and we played phone tag for a little while, and I was trying to negotiate my next contract and like seeing what the deal is, trying to get it signed and all this stuff. And then he was on a layover in an airport and called me and was like, hey, man, don't got much time. I'm on a layover in an airport. And it's like, just want to let you know we don't have the funds and the budget to continue your contract next year. So we're going to have to let you go. And I was like, whoa. And this was like almost before Christmas. You know what I mean? And so I was like, well, what's going on? Like, there's nothing we could do. I was like trying to take a smaller check even, whatever. You know, and I was like, no, we don't have the budget, this and that. And I was like, all right.
So
then
let's rewind a little bit because there's segments. There's Red Bull US and then or like Red Bull North America. And then it used to be kind of like, they divvied it up, so there'd be like a Red Bull South and a Red Bull North and a Red Bull Northeast regions and stuff like that. And then so you would have like originally you'd have like one point of contact that worked in Santa Monica or something, and now you have like this rep guy that comes in and it passes hands because they're not like super high up. They're athlete managers, but they're regional athlete managers.
So what I think happened was I was working at the time. I've worked with several people, but then at the time I was working with Whitney Gonzalez. Yeah. You know, that was the last of like the part I was working with. Amazing. She got it. You know what I mean? She was awesome. She was going on BMX trips and she knew a lot of the BMX riders and stuff like that. She understood my role in the industry, I guess you could say. She left. Yeah. And then it was her boss that jumped in, who I don't think knew a whole lot about BMX or cared maybe, and they were all based out of Atlanta. And so that's, I think, where kind of the ball got dropped. Where no one knew like what to fight for or what to do. You know what I mean? With some of it, I don't know. Like that's kind of what I tell myself.
No, I know what happened. That's what pisses me off because like, they looked at, your old boss knew exactly what you did. You filmed video parts. You got Nora Cups. Like that was your role. You progressed BMX as a street rider, and they looked at contest results and went, what the hell? This guy's doesn't have any gold medals for us. Like, what the hell is this? And then ironically, you started winning gold medals after that. That's what's funny. They made a contest. 2 years later,
I won.
I know. I was like, damn, they
stuff,
fucked up.
Yeah. Which is funny to me. I like kind of laugh.
It's just the wrong person got in office.
That's what I mean. Like
someone and to be honest, if I was in California and I was showing my face in Santa Monica all the time, I probably would still be riding for Red Bull.
Because there's a lot of people that ride for Red Bull that don't
do. You have to. It's all about staying in contact and relationship with people, man.
It's who you know.
Yes.
I
fell out of that, I think.
And I guess the person who knew you and what you did left or went somewhere else. So you got fucked over royally. Because at the time we were like, you still are killing it, but it was like there was no reason for I remember me, you and Matthias were just like, and Christian just like, we got to figure this out. Why did Corey just get dropped from Rebel? What?
I almost feel like you could have. I mean, who knows? I mean, retrospect, but you could have like made a stink and like been like, hey, just so you know,
it's hard
like,
though when they treat you good for 11 years.
But I feel like
that's the weird.
But I was happy for 11 years.
Not that. Not made a stink online. I meant stink like with somebody in Santa Monica and like been like, hey Mavro, hey whoever, like hey, I just got dropped. Like I feel like I've been a part of this brand for so long, and like Red Bull doesn't really drop that many people. Like,
they do nowadays. They do nowadays.
But you kind of have to fuck. You kind of have to fuck up, or
just kind of.
There's only a few people that
you have to
ever,
fuck.
like,
I mean, like, fuck up.
royally, messed up to be like dropped and kicked off or something like that. You know,
Tyler didn't ride for a long time, and then he got dropped. So or not. You know what I mean? Like,
but then there's been some people who have like Anto's not on right now. They do drop people.
But
Anto's
that's
on.
but that's an Italy thing. Like that's
France probably.
France. Yeah.
But that's just like Corey. Like someone probably switched positions and looked at Anthony Perrin and like, where's his gold medals and where's his projects and all this?
If you're not in the limelight type thing, you know what I mean?
But he just won a Nora Cup, but they don't understand what Nora Cup. I don't fucking know what that is.
Yeah,
I don't see that on the radar. What's Nora Cup? You have to be someone that
people
understands
that's
it.
not knowledge of what
I think that's
is
what
actually
happened.
happening.
Paul
in the
Dolan got
industry,
dropped, and he's like kind of was on the come up. But someone kind of he's from Germany, I think, probably came in there and went like, "What's this dude doing? We don't get it." Like, So I think it's just the wrong person gets in office, and
I think it was just an unfortunate situation.
And a huge company like that, like you're saying, it's so sectioned off into so many different regions and who your boss is at the time. Like,
so what? Before
bullshit.
Yeah, we could stamp that
Still
bullshit.
stamp bullshit.
But
Rebel does great things for BMX, but that one was bullshit.
What was the high point? Like, was there one trip or one project or something with Red Bull?
Red
where
Bull
you were
after
like,
parties when he got divorced.
Jesus Christ! Sorry, I didn't mean to say that.
Oh, man.
They were fun to that
you
party.
Wow, you had a divorce party at a Red Bull event?
Yeah.
One way to go out.
Yeah.
They take care of them after parties.
No, actually, a funny story. It's like for my 28th birthday.
Yeah, see? Something like that. I knew it would be.
Red Bull, actually, the rep in Nashville, the people I was working with at the time, because I just moved to Nashville, and the club that I was going to at the time.
Was it Club Corey?
Club Corey was in action, and Red Bull stepped in, and they actually gave like a $500 tab, to be able to me and my friends to have a corner in the club and do all this stuff.
Oh, that's cool.
And they played the video, an web edit that I dropped at the time when I was in Chicago with BK and these guys, and they dropped that and they played that on loop the whole time, all night. It was a Saturday night.
That's pretty funny.
They played that on the big screen in the club, and we had a little corner. I felt like a rock star. I felt like a baller.
Sick.
You know what I mean?
Sick.
It was cool. For my 28th birthday, and just started drinking. I was like, dude, I was so far gone that night.
Oh, I'm sure.
That was terrible. I was dancing across the street on the wall and stuff. It was that was terrible. Yeah.
So the best moment of Red Bull was an after party?
Probably always. No, I think when I did the Ride and Seek project.
Oh, those were so sick.
That was probably my favorite thing to do.
Was that your project?
It was, yes, technically mine.
I had no idea.
Luke Seal too.
Yeah. Luke and Paul were like kind of helped push the thing and put it all into play.
Yeah.
They did all the business side of things, all that. It's connected Red Bull, connected.
But it was your brain, your
victory,
idea.
and I was the athlete.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And then I was like, I knew I enjoyed motorcycles, camping, road trips, all that stuff, and so we all just kind of got our heads together and put it into play.
My brain wasn't working. I was thinking of the one in Vegas that was like the
Mean Streets.
Mean Streets. Yeah, that's why.
That was amazing.
That's why I was saying that was your project, like Mean Streets.
No.
So that's why I was
Ride and Seek.
I was on Ride and Seek.
You shot all the photos.
Yeah, I blanked out right there.
That was so fun to watch. That whole series.
I was really hyped on that whole project because it was a 10-episode YouTube series, and each thing was broken down and put together really well.
Yeah.
There's only one segment in there that I look back on, I'm embarrassed about. It's just like when me and Garrett had to like try and pretend like in an alleyway, I had to invite Garrett to come on this trip, and it was just so awkward. You could tell neither of us really like were into trying to like make this feel real.
About that, do you like camping?
I did when I was a kid. I haven't been forever. I'm down.
All right.
You know what
That's
I'm saying?
not you guys.
It was not us. We
No.
were forcing it so bad. So it's like that's the only embarrassing moment of the whole series.
That was like before Garrett was even on Red Bull, I think.
No, Garrett
Was he on there?
Oh,
already?
100%.
Yeah. He's been on for a while now.
Yeah.
No, he wasn't on.
In Ride and Seek?
Was he?
Yeah, absolutely.
No. Okay.
What year was it?
You were. I was not there.
Hold on.
Mentally, apparently.
Maybe 2010, 2011. When did he get on?
Don't know. I don't even know why I asked
It
that
don't
question.
matter.
Anyway.
I was thinking when I asked, I was like, I'm not going to know that this isn't
It
going
was
to change
2010,
anything.
2011, but
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah,
I feel like Garrett was definitely
Damn, that was
Red Bull.
that long ago,
Yeah.
that project. Wow.
Maybe, yeah.
It's going on 11 years.
Because that was my first major injury. I was in San Diego
God,
actually.
I shot that one too.
Yeah.
I'm going to go pee.
That one sucked.
I was like doing all the stuff to lead up for this project.
Feeble whip, right?
Yeah, feeble whip in San Diego. It was like right before Christmas, and I tore my labrum. And then I went back home, and then like the whole project got put on hold.
Yeah.
And then back like 4 or 5 months later, I was kind of like just starting to ride again.
Yeah.
And made the project happen.
I forgot about that. Yeah, Mean Streets. I just remember. Mean Streets is such a shit show. This shit was so funny, dude.
I love it,
dude. I wish they would have like been able to keep that one going because it was hilarious. Like the characters
that
and
year
everything.
too.
Like,
yeah,
the Vegas
when
one
Vinny
was.
and Edwin.
Oh my god,
gosh,
dude.
it was too much.
Where they
lost
lost or whatever they tried to
split all the money. He's like, yo, can we just take all the prize money and just everybody's? It was amazing.
They voted wrong and then so
that was great. I love those guys.
I don't even know if it was making it in there, but the whatever all the money that Vinny won that night, like we were supposed to like go out or do something, and then I fucking flaked or something, and he went into the tables and lost it all.
Oh no!
And he like still blames me to like every time I saw him for like 5 or 6 years
that's why
later.
I'm glad I wasn't in that scene back then.
Yeah, it was bad. That was one of my lows. Definitely not making it now. But now I got so hammered. The next day they were like banging on the door for me to get out of the hotel, and I was like, no, I am not leaving.
I definitely had a few moments. You can ask Lee Ramsdale about one in the Mongoose Jam at Woodward, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Just good times, just continued on for too long.
Yeah, that was when I was first introduced to double whiskeys.
That'll do it.
And then Lee Ramsdale was like celiac, so we just drank Jameson a lot that night.
Oh yeah.
And then
At a Mongoose Jam at Woodward.
Yeah. How did you know?
Because you're talking about partying, and that's where you party.
Amazing.
No, I'm just kidding. That's not where you party. That's why it's weird.
Yeah, no, that was it. Yeah, that was one of the
was that like hotel party back in State College?
Yeah. It turned. Well, I don't know about that party, but at the hotels where
it was one of those.
It turned into something bad for me.
What happened? Talking about the drunkest you've ever been or something?
Yeah, I ended up just wrecking the hotel room, not knowing it. Like Seth was there, and so obviously anytime me and Seth are together in those situations, we kind of tend to get out of control and not know and just keep it going. But I was probably so far gone. He pushed me back from one hotel. I think we just went into a hotel. Oh, that's it. We were walking back.
He went to the wrong hotel.
No, there was people partying in a hot tub in their hotel, and then so we jumped the fence and hung out with them. And then we went through the lobby. He took their roller thing, the rack, and then he pushed me back to the hotel on that one, into the hotel, into my room. And then as I went in, I guess I was like started grabbing stuff, and then I don't know.
Did you ever pay for it?
I felt bad. I ended up like.
You paid for it, I'm sure.
I don't know what happened. I don't know. Lee Ramsdale, what happened? It was a good time though. Yeah.
I want to talk about the Scerbo Wiz road trip phase because I feel like those dudes. Obviously, I don't know if Scerbo really drank or whatever, but like you guys were the kids and they were the seasoned pros on the road trip, and it just had to be fairly entertaining.
100% always entertaining with those guys because I was still, you know what I mean. I was sober Corey, not club Corey. You know what I mean. Going on all these trips and they had never hung out with anyone like me before that was like that square or whatever. You know what I mean. It's just like only wanted to ride bikes and stuff like that. So they were mesmerized by me doing all that. I am just grateful to be around people that I wanted to travel because I'd never traveled like that before. So like we would do multiple trips all the time, like across country.
So who was on the trip? Like,
that one trip.
Well, general because I know Scerbo was like a staple, but like who else would rotate in and out?
Scerbo and Wiz were the main dudes that I traveled and did a lot of stuff with. But there was always times where Van was on board, Stricker was on board, so it was like all of us most of the time together. We did one trip together. It was me, Wiz, Scerbo, and Stricker across country. And then I think Z was actually because they shot my interview during that trip because he shot Stricker too. And that was probably one of the funnest trips, and like being around those type of dudes for that period of time was amazing. I remember me and Scerbo was like around each other so much that we ended up like just fighting each other in the back seat. And Wiz is like hitting us in the back. You know what I mean? Stop it, calm down. You know, and we're just wrestling and just cutting up. But yeah.
What about on the riding side? Like kind of seeing the progression, like seeing Wiz in person had to be. You know, like Scerbo was style and trick choice and spot choice, and Wiz was progression, and Stricker was speed.
All of those guys, dude, like opened up a whole new thing for me. Like I'd never seen that type of riding until I got around them. So like, or riding spots in a particular manner, you know, I didn't know, like tight transition stuff. Like those dudes were king of that stuff, riding pools. So I was exposed to pools and all that. And that's what just led me to riding that kind of stuff. And like in my mind, it was started like I wanted to know how to ride it better and like add tricks to these spots and stuff like that. And so if it wasn't for them exposing me to that type of street riding, and it's them, they had cameras all the time. And then that was like the lifestyle of like you just ride and film each other, you know, and film everything you do.
Was this like the Animal Squad?
Yeah. Well, yeah, for the most part. Yeah. Square One Animal era for me.
It was kind of all together.
Yeah. There's a lot that just blends together through those like 4 or 5 years. I was traveling so much and filming everything. I remember I was filming 3 video parts at one time.
It's crazy.
Yeah. So if it wasn't for them exposing me to that type of riding and being around cameras, I wouldn't know that that's a thing, you know, like they documented everything I did. And so I'm forever grateful. That's why I have so many video parts in the early ages, because they knew that I didn't know. And it's like, I was just having fun and they wanted to document it. So that was it. Really.
I remember stories about like, what's that? The kink rail,
Boston.
The mellow kink that you like iced and you went up and stuff like that.
Yeah, the Boston kinker. Yeah.
That Scerbo was just taking you there and like just to see the show, you know, like it was like you didn't even know what you were doing, and that he knew more than you.
He probably understood what was possible, and then I didn't until I got there, and I was just like, I don't know, so I want to ride it.
Yeah, you did like 8 things.
I remember reading in magazines, like maybe your interview or something. It was like you bring Corey Martinez to a spot. There are going to be many tricks left to do. He'll do them all like easily and just like, all right, where's the next spot?
I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah,
exactly.
I just enjoyed riding my bike.
That's cool. You enjoyed it, but you were innovating it at the same time.
Was there any?
I liked learning, and that's what we talked about. It's like I love progressing.
Yeah.
And then back then, that's what fueled me, and it still fuels me. It's just like I can go ride a spot by myself, and then look at a stair set and figure out, well, now that I have brakes or something, you know, like what can I do differently? You know what I mean?
Have you ever done like a up rail to Bubica back?
No, I've been thinking about it though lately.
Was there anything on those trips where like you felt out of place, or was it always like, was it cool? You know, like I feel like Stricker hammered had to be pretty rough sometimes, right? Like I guess that's where I'm going with it.
No, entertaining. There was times where like I would just not talk or like just separate myself or whatever, you know. But like I was never like felt like they made me uncomfortable.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I was always welcomed and accepted no matter what. You know, like they knew I was different, but like they never made me feel different.
That's good. Yeah, was there?
They would make fun of me, definitely,
of course,
100%.
I mean,
but it was like that. They were just like shaping me for the world.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That was really
that's a good way to put it. Yeah,
I didn't know what was happening, but they were shaping me for that.
Yeah.
If Scerbo doesn't make fun of you, you're doing something wrong.
100%.
Like so
it's great to have that. It's like how Biz and Jason Inns were for me. You know, at the time I was like, these guys are assholes.
Those dudes,
you know? But it's like, damn, they rolled it so good because it never got worse than those guys.
Yeah.
After those trips.
It makes you sharper. You know, like it's like the
older brother syndrome.
I always joke about like how like quick I am is like, I literally credit how shitty my last name is, because like people would be like, oh, Fudger, and I would just make fun of them back, and then that would be like
defense mechanism.
Yeah,
just
exactly.
Like, be quick with the response.
So, did anybody ever during your sober phase, was there always like have a beer, Corey?
No.
Nothing. I didn't even do it.
No.
Oh, really? All right.
I'd say like at some of the Nor Cups back then,
yeah.
People would like try and get me to drink and stuff like that. But I was like at that point, I was just drinking cranberry and ice. Like that's it.
Yeah.
So I was like, I remember I was like
the incognito
acting like I was drinking, you know, but I was just drinking cranberry juice. Pretty funny.
As a kid, it's like, you know, seeing you in the van with those dudes and everything, I just never even, would relate, because you knew you're in a different generation. But to me, I'm like, you're just homies. Like you probably were partying with those guys and everything.
I definitely was doing my own thing. But
never would have thought
to be
of
fair,
you as being like different.
During the beginning of all that, hanging out with Bob and Wiz, they were straight too. They were like straight edge. They didn't do anything for a while.
Yeah.
And so like there was no issue with that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know when they kind of jumped off of that, but it was that. So I know Wiz. No, maybe it was Bob and then Wiz, but like we had kind of stopped.
I didn't even realize that. I thought they were drinking.
That wasn't our thing anymore. We weren't traveling, and I'd moved on to different things, gotten traveled like sponsors and stuff like that, and so I wasn't doing the road trip stuff anymore. And started flying and doing the contest. And I think
you got fancy.
And so big time. Huh? Started traveling and all that, and they started doing their own thing, and I don't know what happened, but then we weren't doing all that anymore, and it's like they kind of started drinking. And I remember being like, yo, Wiz is drinking now, things like that. And I was like, whoa. Same thing with Bob, and that, but yeah, I was never forced to do anything like that because I think we were both on that same program, or all of us, for a little while.
Whenever I think of like a mid-school dream team driving around like Michigan and like to all these like spots that nobody ever touches,
that was the goal, like just travel and ride stuff that no one's ever ridden, or find stuff that no one could ride.
That's the thing. Even
Wiz had an Atlas, dude, like a big Atlas with like flipped every state, and there would just be marks with all this stuff like marked in there, and so that's sick. So if it was on our route to get somewhere, we would stop and pull over and check it out.
That's what's up. That's why I feel like COVID's helped a lot too, because everyone thinks you need to go to Lyon, France, and then over to Germany.
Yeah, there was like that phase.
Australia, and that's rad. That's so rad. But like, man, just getting in a van and just going and finding spots, like there's fucking
it's part of what
everywhere.
Saved me this year. Honestly, like going into it is just like getting back to that point of like traveling in my rig and just riding everything.
BMX is so
seeing
simple.
My friends
you just go
along
city,
the way,
you go to LA, and it's like, well, everything's new up here, and it's an hour and a half away.
It was like me and Christian just did that trip up north, for a month straight. I ended up getting my banger for my part up there, things like that. So it's like I would have never got that if I didn't go up there, so it's like just doing road trips is like, I don't know, it's one of the most therapeutic things you can do.
So good.
The unexpected thing, because you could have your banger could be sitting 3 miles from your house for 2 years, and you're like, you don't wake up and go, all right, today's the day. But when you bump into it out of nowhere and you're not going to come back, you need to get it done.
It's funny because we saw it, and then I was like, I can't get it. Like, I'm not in the right headspace right now to try it. So like we went up north to Oregon, rode mountain bikes, and then came back, and then I got it done.
That's sick.
It took me like a little while. I got beat up, but like I got it done. But I knew it. Like I needed to think on it and like kind of figure it out. Like I'm that way to where like I have to dwell on it and like see myself doing it before I can like just do it. So I did that and then came back and it was
you're a very calculated bike rider, so that's definitely
try to be.
Well, you are. Yeah, you are 100%. More so than most people, I would think. I don't think you go into anything thinking that you're not going to do it.
The huck and hope days aren't there these days.
I feel like you kind of never were like that since I met you.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
If Corey's calls us out and he's ready to do it, he ain't gonna fall. Don't you have
it just takes me a lot of tries sometimes to get things. That's about it.
Whatever. No one has to see that in the video part, and they get to watch you land it, and that's the awesome thing. Haven't you like only missed a backward grind a couple times, and you've done like thousands of them?
Yeah, I think that's been brought up a couple of times. Yeah, I think I've only ever missed like one or two had bad ones.
That's crazy.
Yeah. There's like jibbing around, you mess up, but like
on a real rail
for something. Yeah. One was at a contest at Woodward in Atlanta, and I missed my backpack really bad on the
Woodward in Atlanta.
It was a Woodward skate park in Atlanta.
Oh, okay.
And I just going to do a backwards grind down a ledge, dude. It was like dumbest thing ever. Smallest
just swung
ledge.
It over.
And no, missed. I didn't get on there high enough, and it just like dropped and hit my hip so hard, and like I remember just that took me out. It's like, but no, that and then once on a rail.
Damn. Yeah, you're calculated.
That quote comes from, I think, Ride and Seek, because we were at that school and you were and it was the first backwards rail that you had done since your shoulder injury, and you mentioned that. And which sounds like a curse almost, or maybe you said it. Maybe you said it afterwards. Now that I'm thinking it, but it was. I just remember just being like, "You never missed."
That's crazy.
I knew that like I needed to tell myself that probably just to get myself to do that rail, because that was my first like big rail coming back, like into the scene after the injury. So I was like, I know I could do this, because I was like, mentally telling myself.
That's cool. Yeah. Since you brought up the video part. So I watched the Feeble Talk we did, and that was in July 2018, and in that, the quote was, I'm 80% done. So July 2018. So this seems to be a theme with the Christian video parts, obviously, demo and stuff like that. But so
I guess I'm 90% done now.
Well, so I think the most important thing, and I think did it get alluded in another podcast that this Christian part was supposed to be your retirement part?
Oh yeah, we did talk about that a little bit.
But I'm almost, and we haven't
on Christian's podcast kind of he mentioned.
Oh yeah, Christian's podcast. Christian and Nathan. Yeah.
He didn't want to say it, though. He didn't say retirement. He just meant like it's going to be his last video part.
You kind of pressed him, and then he did say it.
Yeah, okay.
It was like, hey, this. Well, not like retirement. Yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah, so not retirement, but like this is going to be the last video part that you're going to go in for. So I'm hoping that you're going to say, I'm not exactly calling that anymore.
And that was a different direction in his life too, when you were kind of going towards the woodworking and the staying home.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's probably when I was thinking that at the time. It was like I was like, yeah, I definitely want to just get this done with.
Please don't stop. Just don't ever stop. I mean,
but I'm hoping,
unless you hate it, but
no,
keep
it's
doing
just
it.
Like, I would think it has kind of led me to being in that position of like mindset of like I'm done filming at that level, without the income. You know what I mean? I haven't had health insurance in 3 years.
Yeah.
You haven't?
No. And so it's like, I can't afford that. I can't afford the risk, what I mean, of getting injured and owing $20,000 or more, in an injury from a bike wreck. And so it's like, I just want to focus on getting this done and then like moving forward with other video projects. But as far as like sending myself and like really, really putting my all into a video part, like I think I'll still push myself, but not as like a project like this, unless I have an opportunity. If someone's paying me and I have health insurance and stuff like that, and I can really feel like it's worth it, then I'll do it, But it's like, at this point, I feel like I'm just going to do fun video projects.
People want to see that.
So like, I want to do like, I got a cinema project that I want to do, and I have ideas for stuff that people have never done. And so I want to do that. I don't want to huck myself down a 30-stair rail, or do this or that. You know what I mean? Like, I can do new stuff and progress in a different way than a street.
Yeah, it doesn't need to be. The 3-year project.
That's it. That's what I mean. The 2 to 3 year video project.
Just
stuff.
filming
but
you having fun at an older age, for a professional BMX rider is really cool and really motivating.
Taking 2 to 3 months to film a project, I'm completely fine with. Yeah. But when it comes to like 2 or 3 years to like film a project, that just means something different.
Yeah.
Like people.
You've done that so many times too.
I've been doing it a long time.
So you know how many people you're going to motivate if you just keep filming fun stuff that you really like.
I just want to be on my bike at this point. I just want to ride all the time. So like I'm tired of being injured or having the risk of being injured and not riding,
or the stress of like, I'm gonna backwards grind this 30-stair rail on a wall. Like, I'm gonna do that. Maybe you've done some of the biggest shit ever. Do you want to keep doing that?
None of that stuff will like go away. I'm always gonna have that itch for the right setup and the right time. So that's what I mean. I'm like, I'm not done probably doing like that type of stuff, but as far as like a collective like video part type thing.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. Okay. So this is my last like
it's not all doom and gloom.
Yes.
All right.
Yes,
that's it. There's no direct answer. It's not black and white. No. It's okay.
So
that
if you do get the itch and you do something fucked up,
then
what are you gonna do with the clip?
Start sparking up something.
Exactly.
And
start working on another project.
Exactly. Who knows? Yeah, that's the way it goes.
That is the way it goes. You're like, I'm not gonna do one for a while. You get that
but
clip.
But for me,
like,
this is like I'm motivated just to get this done and like have that off my back and then like start on other things.
Go into what feels right next.
Yes. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm not feeling pressured like I have to like throw hammers all the time, you know, kind of thing. And then right now I'm in a good place. I feel good on my bike. I'm doing new stuff with the brakes and things like that, and so I'm sparking new creativity with that. And like I don't feel like I have to send myself all the time. I can send myself in a technical way, I guess, with the brakes.
Yeah. What is the reality of getting health insurance for you? Like as somebody, I'm lucky enough to get it through my wife these days. So what? It's just like, do you say? Well, I mean, being a professional athlete, essentially, and that risk. I assume it's harder, or no?
I don't know. I mean,
I don't think so. It just depends on your income.
Yeah.
Basically, at this point in American health insurance, from what
I know,
I
haven't talked to any insurance agents in so long. I don't know what requirements that you need to apply for certain things. I'm assuming like depending on your income, you can apply for certain level of insurance, and they won't even know you're.
And if you have lower income, you can get really good insurance for cheap.
Yeah, there's gotta be some. There's
low
gotta be
income,
something.
Whatever that is in their bracket.
Maybe that's something like I don't know. I feel like I'm sending myself when we go to edit this, I'm like, there's got to be some sort of easy process for bike riders to get insurance. Like, I feel like it's such an important thing that it shouldn't be. Shouldn't be thousands of dollars. Right. It should be a manageable number. That like if maybe it's something that I could like.
If you're not low income, and they know you're not like working for this whatever company, you're just an athlete. It's fucking expensive.
Yeah, because I know Gary knows a lot about this. Maybe that's something we should have asked him, or maybe I'll bring it up. But like like
Gary with his family insurance.
Well, Gary's insurance. Yeah, I know how much he pays. It's insane. Yeah, but like,
I couldn't even imagine.
But
family too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that's the thing. But like for a single, a dude that's 22 that is playing the fucking game, and then they don't have insurance, but it's out there for $200 a month or $300 a month or something like that if it exists. I think that's important that people should know.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'll try and stick to my word of saying this and
look it up.
Yeah, look it up.
What I was gonna say is one of the
There's
coolest
a lot of
things
different
for
options
me.
depending
Yeah, that's
on
my
where you
old.
are.
This is my old guy dad coming out right here. Like,
That's
yeah,
cool.
you
A
know,
lot
get
of people
some- get some
listening
health
are probably
insurance.
like,
You
fuck,
know, like,
I could look into it. Maybe
Yeah.
find like you might think it's gonna be $500, but if you look into it, you might be if you're a single person on low income, then get that shit for pretty cheap.
yeah. So
Wow. I'll say this again.
Because low income ain't
Try
low
to
income
anyway.
anymore.
Yeah.
You know.
Third time. So one of the coolest things for me, like with the BMX like industry, when I rode for Levi's, they reimbursed us with
Wow.
health insurance.
That's amazing.
And so I think it's important if you're gonna ride for brands like that, you know what I mean? And it's
Yeah.
like actually try and get that backing, you know, because it's important. If you're risking yourself to film these crazy video parts,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Have
And you got
that
a big
backing. It's
sponsor like that.
Yeah, and so I feel like if you have opportunities to ride for people like that, definitely see if you can get that backing.
That
From
was-
that
that
you
was a
know?
thing.
Even
I
if
mean,
it
I know
is just
like
a reimbursement, just invoice them
Yeah.
for your insurance.
I know,
you
like
Great
Odyssey.
point.
I'm pretty sure Odyssey and like Fit and stuff. Like they did have some sort of program for a while. I don't know if they do anymore, where they were subsidizing their riders.
That's
for
very
health
cool.
insurance.
Yeah,
So,
if you can-
because I mean, it's such an important thing. Like fuck, you know, like
I mean, even
Don't-
I've heard Garrett talk about
Yeah.
that, and he has an up and coming brand, Fiend,
Yeah.
and I've even heard him say that's like a goal of his. So that's so cool. He's
There's so
such a
many-
G. He's already thinking in that direction with a smaller brand. So it's like, why can't bigger brands do it?
Yeah.
I might just be talking to my ass because I don't fucking know anything
No,
about
yeah.
business.
Now, there's so many times I've been in like at a top of a stair set, and I'm like, no, not
Right.
right.
Yeah.
Don't have health insurance.
Dude, if
Not
I didn't
trying
have health
this,
insurance, I think
you
I'd just
know?
like sit inside. Like,
So,
oh
like,
fuck.
like the littlest mistake, you know.
yeah,
like, and it's like-
$1,000 for some
yeah.
stitches.
And
Even
so now
on
I
the
definitely
on the low
just,
level.
I just like choose my battles wisely,
Yeah.
you know, and
Yeah.
just that's it. Yeah.
It's crazy though because like the times I get hurt ain't doing the big shit.
Exactly.
Usually, it's always like
It's like you guys talk
that's
about
why I have,
calculating.
like-
It's like I try and do that, you know, like
Big is yeah.
I know his big is
No,
his,
what I mean?
His
No, it's
little is like yeah.
it's all, when
Everyone's
you're
big.
filming and you get the adrenaline, like that's when you're ready to like bounce off your bike or jump. It's
Yeah,
like when you're
yeah.
like woohoo,
No,
like
yeah.
having fun, even if you're riding fast or riding
sure.
a bigger spot. It's like I'm just doing this, and then all of a sudden you're like whack, like what the fuck just happened? Because it's just like something. Those
Yeah.
are the times I've got wrecked. Has been like
When you don't see it coming.
that's why dude,
Yeah.
not having health insurance. It'd be so hard to even ride for me. So that is pretty crazy.
Yeah.
You, Seth Kimbrough, came from the same area, and then Nathan Williams, who right now is just the god of he's
the
just
best.
moving
the best of the
BMX
best,
street
right?
riding
Yeah.
forward in the coolest direction.
So happy and so proud of that dude, man. Like just being on his bike and doing what he does and still doing it.
Yeah.
Straight up.
So you basically did you find him in Nashville, or you guys just happened to bump
Yeah.
into each other? Like how did this whole
Man.
Roller skating rink.
is it another
Yeah.
roller skating
Not
Imagine.
quite as cool as the
Imagine.
roller skating rink situation, but it's still cool. No, so I was at the time living in Alabama, going back and forth to Nashville to ride bikes, and I'd started hanging out with this guy Robert and doing stuff that we'd met each other a while, but I started doing things together. And he'd called me an opportunity to do a school show, and then I came up and then did a school show with him, and then Nathan Williams was on the trip as well, and a skateboard and stuff. And so we started doing these. I think it was like we went to Memphis and maybe a couple other places, and that's the first time I'd met him. And I just like hung out with him, we rode together, and saw that like he was doing 180 tucks and stuff, and just saw his passion for bike riding in general and his style, how he loved. I could see it, like he was
Yeah.
into it. He mimicked Aiken and all these dudes. Like he had it, you know what I'm saying? Like when you know someone's got it, you know, kind of thing. Is like they're into it and he's got something. And I was just like super into him. He was a rad kid, super shy, humble. You know what I mean? Kind of reminded me of myself in a sense, you know, growing up. And so I was like, I dig this kid. Ended up going to Nashville, riding more with him and doing all that stuff, and watched him ride a contest that was at the skate park there. And I was like, this kid is really good, and he's like doing tricks that I do and stuff. I was like, I like this. Talked to Ian, and then I was like, yo, there's this kid in Nashville that like I'm really hyped on. It's like, can we do something with him? It's like, float him some frames, and it started off from that, and then started riding for full on United, and then now it's the Nathan Williams everyone knows now.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
Kind of surreal, but yeah, no, grateful to just like go on mini trips with that dude, and like we rode together and pushed each other. Same as Seth and I did, but like in a different level and different time, you know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, you had Seth in the beginning, And then when you kind of started going on your more solo, not solo, but once you went a different route, you had Nathan over here. So it's kind of like you had this version and then this.
Exactly.
Dude, like,
it was like a second wave for me. You know what I mean? Almost to keep progressing and pushing myself. I had somebody else that was younger to ride with, and
crazy.
Like that was,
you had this guy who was like the best over here, and then you moved to this guy who's the best over here, and you've always just like your influences around you have been fucking insanely talented, just like you.
Yeah. I don't know. It's cool, man. Nathan's one of the best, and definitely grateful to have met him.
That's cool.
Lead him into the path that he is now. Like, so it's sick to see him unfold into the Nathan Williams that we know.
For sure. You kind of got him on like Levi's flow, even in that
heyday.
Yeah,
with him and Dak. And that was a really cool program, man. Like,
it was.
I was excited to be able to be a part of that, just because like that was a new wave, a new movement at the time, you know, with having a brand like that hop into BMX. So the opportunity to pick up 2 flow riders for that program was amazing. And
good choices.
And I knew that like I'd been watching Dak, you know, and I was already friends with Nathan. So Nathan was first pick. And then I was like, all right, cool. Who's another guy? And I'd just been watching Dak over the years. And so I picked up Dak and Nathan.
Such a sick program. There was like 4 pros and you guys all got to pick 2 flow riders.
Amazing.
That's the best.
So
that's how it should be.
Shout out to Kathy McGrath.
Yeah, that was a good one. I wish. I mean, they could still do it, but
they dropped the BMX program and started a skate program.
But like the skate program was like 5 years later too. Yeah,
they have a BMX program again. Just they got like Daniel Sandoval and Ben Wallace. Christian shot some big commercial. It's like Olympic orientated. So they got dudes on.
Gotcha.
I think Matthias too.
Matthias does do some stuff.
Matthias has a real legit contract from Levi's, and so those other guys.
Matthias is different. He's on his own crazy flatland program. Like he's got a lot of wild stuff.
I'm sure it's different than these guys, but they have contracts in BMX. It's just
Sandoval's been getting some weird stuff. Is he the dude for the US?
For the US, I think he's like one of the guys.
Who would be the dude? Well, Justin Dowell,
Daniel Sandoval, Nick Bruce.
Yeah, it's got to be those 3.
That's why I think I'm probably a little ignorant to it. There might be some other people in there, but
make sure they cover your health insurance.
I think Olympics does do that. Yeah.
No, I think
I'm almost positive that's like a
I mean, if
nice
you're in the
perk.
Olympics, I would hope so.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I heard they pay you like monthly. Or
oh yeah, no, it's like a legit sponsor with health
insane.
insurance and everything. So like that's why people get so into it. It's like a
good for them.
Yeah.
There's a feast course down the road.
A what?
There's a feast course down the road.
There actually is. They built one in Chula Vista.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
You can't ride it though.
Gotta have credentials.
And you can put you on a list, and then
you have to get the COVID
600 COVID tests.
Yeah, Gary said he went through the process and it was insane. And I was like, "Was it worth it?" And he's like, "Yeah."
I don't think any of that worth it.
Yeah, so
I'd rather go ride an alleyway down the street.
You can ride my ramp down the street with no COVID test and loud.
When we talked about the rig and all that, we glanced over the Instagram deletion.
All right.
For a little while, so
God!
Oh my goodness!
Disappeared.
Do such a thing.
So a lot
Did he die?
A lot of people put their delete the app and stuff like that, but and their account is still there and blah blah blah. You actually like hid your I don't know the specific term for it, but when you searched Corey Martinez, it didn't show up anymore, and I don't know how many followers.
Deactivated.
Yeah, exactly. Like you have 150,000 followers or whatever, and it was like somebody texted me. It was like, Corey Martinez doesn't have an Instagram account anymore. And that's when we ended up talking on the phone because I was like, whoa, this is that's like a heavy move in the terms of like, a professional bike rider these days is supposed to represent companies. The Cat is here.
Hi, Cat.
And I was like, hey, are you good? Just like a weird thing. Like you deactivated your Instagram account.
Which makes sense.
Is Corey okay?
Yeah, which makes sense. And I'm grateful because I think after about a month of being deactivated, I had like a handful of people reach out, like because obviously there's a concern if like someone's always active on that kind of social media stuff, they're gonna reach out afterwards. But did
you? So you have your bike riding one, and then you have your secret one that.
Kitty kisses.
I think she's smelling the dog. Did you deactivate both of them? I can't remember.
No, so I just deactivated the BMX one.
Okay.
I had like the woodworking one or whatever.
That's
what it was. That one's been like in
was.
so many. It's been a photo page. It's been
but that one was
like,
that one was your personal one. Okay, Cat. That was it. That was your personal one, and then you changed it to a woodworking one. Correct.
Correct.
Okay.
That was in the beginning. It was personal, then it was photo, and then it was just like woodworking. But I had that one active just because I didn't care. Like, and I wasn't even. I deleted the app too, so I didn't know. I just wanted to get the BMX page unactive, you know. But
yeah, why? I guess is the.
It's part of what I was going through with 2020. I just needed to like shut off everything and like not talk to anybody and just like focus on me again and just find myself and find the avenue that I needed and not focus on making social media people happy, you know, because I don't care about that stuff. I don't care about Instagram. I really do put effort towards it. And, you know, I understand the benefits that comes from it, you know what I mean, of having a following and stuff like that, and being an influencer and all that for certain things. But it's like, dude, like when you have real life stuff going on, that stuff is nothing. You know, it means nothing. And so for me, it's like, that's what it was. It's like, I felt like I was forcing, sorry, Kitty. I felt like I was forcing that lifestyle still, and it was taking away from my focus of of me, you know, like where the attention I needed to focus on, because I just try to stay afloat with social media to make myself look like I was doing something when I wasn't doing something, you know. It's like, that's old. Like I get so sick of that. It's like, I don't want to be fake, you know. All of that shit is fake to me anyway. So it's like just trying to stay afloat with all that and make yourself seem like you're doing something. It's like got old. And I was like, you know what, deactivate. Just focus on me. And then that's what it did. Is like I finished building my camper out and I didn't talk to anybody. I just went rogue, you know, for a little while. And that's what I needed mentally. So I took advantage of that. And
it's crazy. It's crazy from the outside because I feel like you're so good. I feel like you're so good at social media, and like you update your story, and you always did kind of funny stuff, and it was like it seemed like it was pretty natural for you, and you're the way you're saying it now is that it was
on, like, the Matthias program.
Like
Matthias seemed like it was just easy, like when you're riding.
Yeah, like this is.
It always seems like that from the outside, but like for me, it's like I actually have to think about things and make it work, and you know, or like
from the outside, just
put
watching
things
you
together, you know, like to make sure it all lines up, and there's energy and effort that goes into making, for me anyway, social media. I try to do that. If I was just to post stuff randomly, then it would just be a terrible page.
But that's what I mean. From the outside, it's like, no, it does seem like random. Like, oh, Corey's out having fun and living, you know, like, and it's like
Matthias. Like, I feel like you and Matthias were hanging out a lot when he was doing his, and you were right there with him. So like, when I see you, I'm like, it looks like you're just like Matthias. Like, you're just so good at doing it. You're good.
I try. I mean, I was definitely trying better back then, but like now that I did that 2 month break or whatever, and then came back, it's like I have a whole nother like understanding of it and like interest of like Instagram. Is like when I feel like I don't want to do anything, I just don't do anything. You know what I mean?
Feeling forced.
Where before I was like, oh, I got to do this, got to do that. You know what I mean? It's not a terrible thing. You know what I'm saying? Like I could be doing worse things, you know, forced to do worse things, but like mentally, I just didn't need to be doing that. I needed to focus my attention and energy to other things in life and not social media. So that helped me just re-gauge and refocus on that.
That's good. Yeah,
but it's great. It was one of the most therapeutic things I could have ever done in my life. And like I encourage that to anybody. One of the homies was talking about, he posted something on his story, you know, making an announcement. He's going off Instagram, this or that. I was like, dude, do it. Like, and he's like, I said, delete the app. Don't, because he said he was going to just keep the app and check in every once in a while. I was like, dude, just delete it. Like, deactivate everything. I'm telling you, nothing is going to change. Everything is going to still be the same.
It's just easier
in
when you
2
don't
or
look
3
your Instagram,
months
you're like, woohoo.
when you come back or whatever. It's like, it's still the same BS that goes on Instagram. Like, everyone posts
social media gets toxic, you know,
and
it's
I
like,
can't stand it, dude. Like, I really do. I try to make myself like present things to where I'm into it. I really do enjoy it, but that's the thing, is like I have to make myself enjoy it, you know. Or if not, then I'll just leave it alone and not care.
I can't look at it unless I'm riding. Just like I can't watch edits and stuff unless I'm riding. It's the same thing. It's like a BMX motivation. But if I'm not riding, I'm healing. I'm like, oh my god, Logan just did a switch double whip to manual. That's fucking amazing. But like, I can't get motivated right now because I need to sit down. I look at it, I'm like, I want to go ride. Oh shit. I'm like,
so that was
hard.
Part of what pushed me off, is because I was watching all my friends ride and do all this stuff in California, and
you got to use it as motivation.
I was like, I should be there. I was like, why am I not there right now? But I'm like, I'm stuck in this like hellhole trying to figure out my life, you know, this and that, and it's like, I was literally bummed, and like, so. Yeah.
But really, what you're doing is good, and you need to be doing it. It's not your time.
I knew that's what I should be doing, but I wasn't there, and so it was frustrating me.
You had this distraction,
envious, and so I'm like, if I can't do that, then I'm going to delete it, and then just focus on what I need to do to get to that point. And so here we are today.
That's great. Yeah.
and I know I brought it up to Corey when we were talking outside, but I found a feature on Instagram where you can set a limit. So like it says an hour or 2 hours per day. And so it'll send you a little notification within the app. So you go, oh, you've been on Instagram for an hour today. And you're like, fuck, it's 1 p.m. Like,
Yeah.
I need to put my fucking phone down. You know, like, obviously there's, I
super-
work on Instagram, unfortunately.
I'm
but
saying I'm super bad, but like I think of it as a good thing is like I kind of just put my time in the morning and time in at the night a little bit, but most of my time is in the morning.
Because it's
And
like work for you?
Yeah, in a sense, I just want to check it off the list.
Emails.
Yeah. Check it off the list in the morning to where I can go about my day and not have to worry about answering messages and replying
It's
to people,
trippy,
this
dude.
or that.
It's a huge
you know?
distraction in life. I
Yeah,
have friends
I
come
don't
over to
like
the house
that.
and they just sit down and like they don't have anything to
seeing
say. So they go
people-
whoop, and I'm like, look, because I just snoop on people's phones. It's always scrolling through Instagram. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Like,
What are you doing that is
It's
going
a
to
distraction.
Yes. And so like I realized that off of that, like during that time before I did that, I was looking at some stats and I was going to my friends and telling them, it's like I definitely like didn't even get on Instagram before I did the 2-month deactivation. Didn't get on Instagram, but every once in a while, and it was 45 minutes averaged a week that I was on there. You know,
Yeah.
or day. Sorry,
A day.
45 minutes a
Okay,
day.
yeah.
Sorry, and they give you weekly updates.
Yeah.
So 45 minutes average. And so I was like, I was hyped on that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so I was like, once I did that 2-month break, I was like, that kind of like got me ready for that to come back into. I was like, cool. I don't need to spend a lot of time on there because I've already done that to where I'm only 45 minutes a day.
only 45 minutes?
Yeah.
I
So
mean,
how much were you on there?
If you look at your phone and you check it, like, I mean, pull it up.
You don't
Instagram?
realize like
Yeah,
throughout
but
the
no,
day.
here, if you go here.
I'm probably on Instagram.
Let's see
a
it.
shitload writing back to comments.
I don't even know how to get to
No,
that.
yeah, I don't know. I'll have to see.
But it's crazy. Like you spend a lot of time on there, not even knowing. Anytime you stop and you're
No,
just
I
hanging
know.
out on the parking
You
lot
take a
with your
shit, you
friends,
look at
you know,
Instagram,
and
it's
you
like a little
scroll,
news
and it's like
thing.
that's 5 minutes that goes by. You know.
How did I just get there? All right.
Yeah, Instagram is probably my most used app on my phone.
What?
Besides
Did you not-
texting.
Oh, screen time. There it is.
So anybody out there that gets
Social
annoyed or not
networking.
responding,
47
you know why.
minutes. 1 hour daily. 1 hour 27 minutes daily.
On social medias?
Yeah.
Dang.
Oh wait.
It should
That's
give
my
you a,
No, yeah,
That's my screen time.
Yeah.
and you
And you're down 60% from last week.
because you
Last week I was healing. I
Yeah.
was on
Yeah.
Instagram a
Yeah,
lot.
that's
like,
why, 'cause you-
Yeah.
sitting on the couch looking at Instagram.
So
That's interesting.
some cool little facts in there just to know where
Yeah,
how to prioritize
on-
your time.
on
Yeah.
Monday, January 25th, you were on your phone for 5 hours and 17 minutes.
What was that? I think that was when
3 hour, 3
I
hours,
was fighting.
3 hours of social media.
That was when I was fighting the Washington,
skate- the skate-
Washington Street Post. I was like, that was the longest I think I've ever been on Instagram. I was like, I'm never doing this.
2
again.
hours of Pornhub.
Yeah. Yeah, that was definitely the Washington Street day. I was like, I'm never
just
gonna get
says
into
that.
Oh, yeah.
Instagram commenting
Oh,
again.
yeah.
That was the first and
Yeah,
only
that's
time I've ever
terrible.
done that. I was like, dude,
I don't get into any of that.
I
Hey,
never
you
have.
sucked me in too.
I just got like a little
Yeah,
personal
little itch.
something.
Yeah, no,
and,
that's real. Like,
and
you shared your beliefs.
and it was the
on
first
that,
time I ever
yeah.
did that, and I was like, this isn't even worth it. It just didn't go anywhere, and I
Yeah.
was like, if I'm gonna do something,
because
like,
none of
it's better
none of
to-
the actual players were involved.
Well, and
You know what I mean?
No matter
Like-
what you do on Instagram or whatever, if you're trying to do something like that, you need to talk to people in real life or have more of a thing than just to post and say something.
like-
and that's what I was trying to get across to all these people, and that's why I was on my phone for 3 hours that fucking
Yeah.
day, because I was like,
Yeah.
I want to tell you what I mean, and it was like, you're never gonna get anywhere. It just
I'd much rather talk to someone in person or a phone
Exactly.
than like any text or email or something. Like that's why I'm so bad. And so like anybody that's like gets bummed on not responding to messages and emails and stuff like that, I'm just terrible at it.
Yeah,
Like,
it's all good.
and I try to make a point, like, you know what I mean? But it's like, I'm so distracted by other things. It's like, and I don't really have that much interest in social media or emails and stuff, and digital things in general. But I try to. I'm really like, when I come back, I'm trying to make it fun, trying to find a way to make it fun, different posts. And like, I love photography. So it's like having that background of interest is like, all right, cool. I'm going to make that a fun way to capture moments and document things, which is cool. It has its benefits, Yeah.
So, what's the end? How you said 90% done with this video part. So is your goal to get it all finished and then go home? What's the end of this trip right now? Like what's
so
your
being here, when I got here, I was telling Christian, I was like, all right, cool. Like, I think I'm gonna give it 2 months. I want to be here in Cali 2 months and knock the rest of this out, along with the cinema project that I got to do. But now that I've been informed on some sort of contest that's in Texas,
Oh yeah.
I think I'm gonna only give myself another month to film
Okay.
and then drive to that contest, because it only makes sense to do that and then go home from there to do that.
You need to take that?
No.
Oh, scam likely. No, you definitely don't.
Scam likely. So I'm gonna get myself that road trip to the contest and then go home and then kind of reset and possibly thinking about like doing some other selling the truck and getting a van and building a van out and doing it more properly. That's an idea. But I feel like if I do that, I'm gonna have to finance a truck or a van and all that stuff, and that's a whole other thing.
Yeah.
But so I'm possibly doing that. But at home, dude, there's so much new stuff happening. There's a new skate park at this private spot that's going on. We have a new pump track going on now. So it's like there's a lot of stuff to go home to
and summers are great there too, right?
Yes, and so I've been like out here long enough to escape winter to go back. So this skate park or this contest is a perfect opportunity to kind of get back on the road. And I'll take my time getting there, like 5 days, and then afterwards probably hang in Austin for a couple weeks and then go home. Things like that. Actually, Tony might meet me in Austin.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so we'll hang out for a little while and stuff. But yeah, so 90% done, and I'm hoping to have this month to do that and finish it if I can.
This month, what is it right now?
February.
So you're gonna finish it by the end of February?
Yeah.
Well,
I'm really focused on like just my all my dream tricks that I want to do. That's kind of it. Like I have like a set like 5 or 6 dream tricks and like spots that I want to go to.
Are they all Southern California?
Yeah.
I want to watch this, man.
Call
like
a motherfucker.
We're gonna heal up around the same time. Let's go do
I know
this.
I've been MIA like the last 4 months, but I'm kind of
I would love
around,
to shoot
so,
stuff. Definitely. I definitely want to document all this stuff because I probably want to do it again. So.
Probably will.
Yeah, that event's not until March 12th, so like a full month, 30 days.
So I'm going to leave on March 7th.
Okay, yeah. So literally, today's the 8th.
Yeah,
so.
I'm going to take my time to get out there, like 3 or 4 days.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I think that event.
I hate rushing when I'm driving like that. So
I think that
6
event will be
hours
good
max.
for you too. Like I think it'll be a cool event
Every
that
year,
I think you could
like
do super well
I've seen it. I've seen the one that Lacey when he came and he was there and he rode that event. And it looked fun. Like the stuff there looks really fun.
Was it the Supercross?
The triple challenge.
Yeah, I'm just now kind of informed of it. I don't know any details.
He got tagged in the Instagram post.
Nice.
Pretty interesting.
Yeah, that was funny. There was a little. No. Well, so the guy that is in control of the event, Sean, he asked me for the list of riders, and that's I texted you, and I was like, hey, would you be interested in riding it? I didn't text everybody, but he had me put together a list of like the people that I think should be invited, and I put together that list, and he kind of just dropped the list. He made some changes and put it in an order or whatever, and then just dropped the list online and was like, these people are invited. And so it was like a little backwards, but like in his head, it's like it's just an easy way to do it. Like everybody looks at Instagram and like you're invited if you want to. This isn't the people that are right. Like he thinks like in his head it's like this is the invited list, not the people that are riding the event. So, there was some like negative comments from a couple of the pro riders that were like, I don't know. I didn't really care for it, but I just felt it was like, fuck it, I'll just say it. It was just Ricani was just like, Ricani was just like, fucking, just being Ricani about it, and it was like, dude, like, yeah, you're just invited to a contest. Not if you had, like, if you're curious about it, just send the dude a DM. Like, not that big of a deal, like, so.
It definitely shifted my program a little bit, but I think for the better. Now I'm just like I said, like I just roll with go with the flow, roll the punches and like,
it's cool.
However it happens, it happens. And so now I'm like excited to go ride a contest. I haven't rode a contest since September in Battle Hastings. That was the last time I did like a year, almost whatever.
It's great. All of a sudden, you found this thing you want to go to, and it puts a deadline on your video part, so you can finish. You said you got a few things you want to handle. You know where they're at. You know what you want to do.
And I feel pretty confident in like that time period of getting at least 5 or 6 more solid tricks. That's all I want. Like 5 to 10 more like tricks to finish out my part, so
5 or 6, 5 to 10.
10.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 14.
Oh, it's hard. It's hard when there's no deadline. It's hard when there's no real deadline. Deadlines are good sometimes.
So is it the same rollout as the Nathan part? Like, is Christian going to do the same exact thing?
Correct. Yep.
Okay, so Gumroad, that style thing. Cool.
Which I believe. Well, I say my deadline is now a month cut off before DeMarcus is filming till end of April. So
he's got a deadline too. He's giving himself
February, March. So end of March. Yeah. So Christian basically just hit him up and was like, "Hey man, so we kind of got to get a deadline on this stuff now." And so him and DeMarcus got a 2-month, and now I was like, "Oh, perfect. That's as long as I'm going to be here, and then I'm going to roll back." So both of us got 2 months to film.
Yeah.
But now this thing happened, and so I'm going to cut short, and it's just 1 month. But I'm pretty focused on like specific tricks that I want to do in spots, and if I get to them, I get to them. If not, then it is.
Have you looked up flights? Flights are cheap though.
I did, but it's just it makes more sense with the dog and the travels and stuff. It's like I just would rather do that, and it's like by that time I'd been in California for 2 months.
Yeah,
and so I'm like, you know what I mean? And it's like I'm good. You know, I've had my
keep
Cali
moving.
fix and then keep it going. Yeah,
you got such a good thing going on with the truck and the
I love
RV style truck.
It's like I go to sleep every night with the biggest smile on my face, dude.
And
like,
you do
I'm
6
so
hours
happy.
a day. You
That's
could sleep
awesome.
in the desert, wake up in Albuquerque, you keep moving, and all of a sudden you're in Austin.
Yeah.
Like,
and I thought about like stopping in Vegas
Arlington,
and riding with
wherever you're
Mills because I see Mills riding all these cool spots,
Yeah.
you know, all these ditches. And that was actually, if I can get that to work out, maybe Christian can go to Vegas with me because there's so many ditches in Vegas that I want like some sub tricks.
Let
like
me know.
bank to
I want to
sub
go to
stuff
Vegas
that I
too.
want to do. So like there's so many of those setups out there. And it's like, yes, let's do it.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Christian, we're
it'll
doing
be,
a Vegas
it'll be
trip.
nice by then too.
Cool. Yeah.
Cool.
So
we just committed
if that
on
works
air, we're
out,
going
then
to
I'll
Vegas.
be able to document on the way out too.
Yeah.
You know. So.
No, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Cool.
BMX family and road tripping too. That's so dope. Like you can be like, oh, Mills has been shredding in Vegas. I'm gonna stop there. Albuquerque, there's a homie there
I love
shredding
watching
there.
him like his whole like path, his journey that he's been on. It's so sick. Yeah.
Yeah, that's being in the game for a few decades now. You know, you got friends in every damn city. Like that's so amazing.
It's wild, man. I'm very fortunate and grateful for that. Like it's helped me the whole time I've been on the road, you know,
because
like,
you've been stopping
dedicates
everywhere,
the,
right?
You know what I mean, where I want to go. Like, okay, cool, I got friends here, here, and here, so it like directs my path, you know, like where I want to do. And it's like I stopped in.
I seen you in the snow
in Colorado.
Yeah.
I was like, if it wasn't for like a snowstorm that happened and trucks had turned over or whatever off the interstate, I wouldn't have pulled over. But I pulled over and I realized I was 4 hours from Telluride. Had a friend there, haven't seen in like 7 years. And I was like, dude, it's snowing. It's like, I wonder if I can go up there. And I checked the weather. And it's like, it's not snowing the next day, but the day after that it's snowing. So I could drive up there with no issues on the road and then have a fun day snowboarding. It's like, cool. Hit him up and he's around. Ended up driving. Well, it was supposed to be a 4-hour trip, but it took me 10 hours to get there, dude. I was so over it. It was annoying because of the weather, the trucks and stuff like that. But yeah, so it's just being able to do what you want when you want, you kind of thing. It's like
that's cool.
Adventure mobile is kind of what I've been
No
doing.
consequences, really. You can just take a left when you're supposed to. You plan on going right, and you take a left.
I love
that's
it,
cool.
man.
Yeah, that's cool.
It's been the best.
I'm happy that you have found, you know, kind of the bouncing in between, and it seems like you've kind of.
I'm finding my balance.
You know,
again.
I love you, so
absolutely.
I'm glad we don't get to hang out too much.
I know.
But
No. Yep. No, I definitely feel like I found a balance right now, and then go back home and see what I can do. Yeah. Balance it again. Get back out on the road.
That's life. That's life.
I feel like that's where I want to be, and that's the life that I want right now. You know what I mean? So, I just want to push bike riding as much as I can for the last 2 or 3 years that I might have left. So let's just get it.
And I mean, like you said too, like the path of like making these breaking video parts, you might eventually not feel like doing. You say you have a few more years on that, but like being a pro bike rider at like another level is so cool too. I think like it's so not there's such a lack of that in our sport where it's like you can get these new kids and everyone's fans of them, and then the superstars like in their middle age, and then a lot of people as soon as they're like, I can't film a video part, I'm out. Whew.
Yeah.
And I get it because it's a hard thing to do with like, because you're not gonna be making as much money as you did. But
Right.
it's so sick to like
It's
see
too,
those
they
dudes
don't-
with the passion to
I
keep
feel
going.
like they don't mean as much anymore. You know what I mean? People don't have the same excitement behind filming a full-length video part, or the budget. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To
The
do
budget,
that.
yeah.
You know what I mean? There's a lot of money that goes into making videos. It's like crazy.
And it only gets handed to like the guys in their prime. So if you're like, I just want to make a fun part, people are like, okay, have fun with that. You know, we're not going to give you all this money to make that. Like
that's why I'm excited to try and do this cinema project while I'm here, to just do a fun project, but then like kind of focus on the serious stuff with Christian.
What are the ideas for the cinema project?
It's right now it's all based off of picnic tables. I just want to do a full picnic table project.
Hell yeah.
So I got some ideas. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I think
That's cool.
I'm interested to see how Christian's, you know, if he's able to fund the next batch, if he wants to continue on and stuff like that. Like that'd be cool if it's viable and that he can make a couple of bucks and fund this passion project.
He was telling me
like
some
that.
numbers with him and Nathan's stuff, and I was really surprised. And I was like, dang, that's really cool. That's sick
awesome.
that both of you guys like turned out, like cashed out a little bit, you know,
Yeah.
for the what put in. You guys put a lot into that.
Of course,
So
and
being
there's-
able to get
and-
paid out a little bit is nice.
Right now he's got a couple other big name dudes, Corey Martinez, DeMarcus Paul, that worked on parts for
I mean, we're both 5 and 6 years in the making.
So if those go good, then maybe, next year Christian can be like, I want to get 10 of my dudes together and do this.
Yeah.
Keep it going.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
We'll see. Like the only time will tell after you guys drop your parts. He'll have be able to average out to 3 and be like, well, this works or this doesn't.
Yep.
Go to this contest, and then is it going to be just kind of follow the intuition around and keep flowing, or do you have any more structured goals?
Once I get home, it's kind of like set some stuff up at home and just kind of make sure that's all dialed, and then I ultimately just want to get back on the road and then travel. It's like, so there's a very good chance I'll end up back out here.
Awesome.
So you never know, because I don't know, I just want to be riding my bike.
That's sweet.
Doing
That's
that.
cool.
Yeah.
How old are you now?
I am going to be 38 April 24th.
When did you start hitting the road as a pro?
Oh gosh, 2001 was when I first turned pro. Jacksonville, Florida contest. CFP.
20 years solid.
Yeah.
20 years.
2001. Yeah.
And then by
February.
How do you feel on your bike?
I feel good.
Yeah.
I mean, I ride and
I feel good.
I'm slow, warming up these days, but once I get moving and good, and I have something an interest that I want to do and ride, I'm fine. But I feel all right on the bike. I'm definitely sore most of the time, but it just takes me a little longer to get moving.
I know.
Yeah, I mean, do you think maybe that also came with the break you had during COVID and the
break?
woodworking?
The break was a good switch. The break is a good motivation for me to a new spark. You know what I mean?
But you're probably still kind of building, because at one point you never stopped riding. You barely get injuries. You keep going, and then all of a sudden you took this little COVID break, woodworking break thing, and you're kind of getting it going again.
Was initiated from Battle of Hastings last year.
No, I meant a break on you weren't constantly filming for a second that.
But did you heal? Did you heal and get a little soft? You kind of healed the injuries, but you also got a little soft.
That's what I'm saying. You say it takes a long time to get going. Is that maybe just because is that the age, or do you think that's just?
It's just not being around it, not being in the program.
That's
once I got on the road again, it was boom, it all came back. It's I know the program, So it's being out here and filming and riding with all the homies has been very helpful.
Oh, yeah.
Put perspective on things again, as far as filming and getting stuff done. Yeah.
You seem really in tune with your body too. Your morning ritual, yoga mat rolls out, back roller. You got toys and tools to get the body feeling good, and then you get on your bike and it's
it's pretty much regular thing for sure.
Yep. Stretcher, roller outer,
recovery. I try to be on it for sure.
You're good at it. Yeah, I think that's
I think I'm addicted to it. That's the thing. It's I love the feel of recovery, of muscle breaking down tissues and that, and the release that you get from that it's amazing, because
that's a good
when
addiction.
You notice the difference that it does, it's that's what keeps you wanting to do it more. Yeah. So.
Yeah, you become addicted to a process of health. It's great. It's how you've always ate good too. I mean, since I've known you.
Yeah, I've tried. Yeah,
go camping and you got these 3-course meals, all this
stuff. What is this organic stuff?
What did he say that at one point? I mean, coming from Alabama, that's probably
that's a big one. That's a big.
That's a big moment.
That's a Stu Johnson one right there.
Yeah, I lived it though.
No way.
Yeah, we were at the Whole Foods on the United trip, and Stu made us go to a Whole Foods, and it was definitely not organic Corey at that time.
No clue what any of that stuff.
And he literally was going around.
Been to Whole Foods before.
He was walking around and he just had nothing in his basket, and he was and looking at the ranch dressing. He's like, "What is this organic stuff? I just want ranch dressing."
What does organic ranch dressing mean?
You're scared of organic? Yeah. What are they putting in this?
He didn't know.
No idea.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
It's funny when you think of progression as a human being.
Yeah.
He literally started going.
Stu has seen a lot. He's seen me and Seth from the ages 15, 16 of growing and being exposed to everything in life. So yeah, it's pretty funny. That's a good story.
It's cool. Yeah. You have a very open mindset, and you feel
when I say it,
constantly evolving and changing. Even with riding too, you you threw the brakes back on. You grabbed a free coaster. You went from 2 pegs to 4 pegs. You're always just whatever's fun. You're not closed-minded. This is how I ride. This is how I have to ride.
I've always been open to things for sure. With bike riding, it's I don't want to be.
Oh no!
What?
That camera's not recording. I will just apologize to everybody because apparently the camera stopped recording. So if there's...
We should just play Corey video parts without music in the background during that.
I will. Yeah, I literally, that will be what's happening. So it will literally...
You're yelling.
Oh, sorry.
He's yelling. Sorry.
God, I'm blowing it.
No headphones.
Screaming into the mic right now.
Yeah,
without your headphones on.
sorry, I'm blowing
But
it.
yeah,
Hey, we're crushing.
once
it.
that
We're
video
good.
stops, let's just play Corey parts.
Yeah,
People will be
you-
like, "This is fucking sick." You got about 75 of them we could play.
The Unclicked intern really blew it today. You know, like this guy in the behind the scenes just for
He hasn't been looking
What's he
shit
doing
up
over
for
there?
I
us.
know,
Yeah.
right?
Mega.
Damn.
But yeah, no, I feel like I'm very fortunate and grateful to be in the position I am right now, riding, getting back on the wheels, and just want to continue to do that. Just ride my bike and have fun and enjoy life. Yeah,
Dude,
Oh, yeah.
hell yeah. Motivating dude.
try to be, man.
From
Yeah,
the
I appreciate
beginning.
it.
As a
you,
kid
you
watching
guys, you guys motivate me. Honestly, like that's
yeah.
what's been inspiring and motivating is coming out here and just like being in the mix again. So
Okay.
as long as I'm in the mix, I'm happy. I'm like I want to be doing the damn
I'm
thing
glad
the
you
best
want
I
it.
can.
I'm glad you want it.
Me
You know,
too.
like
Yeah.
I'm glad you tried something else, and you're like, nope, not yet.
Yeah.
So like, I'm
Yeah.
glad you're willing to fight for it, and I'm glad you're fucking making it
Yeah.
happen. So
It's
that's
just-
awesome.
It's in my blood, you know. Like I can't.
That's what's up.
That's it.
Yeah, that's true.
That's me.
That's true.
That's who I am.
Yeah.
Just growing up on Wide Awake Nightmare, my favorite video ever. From a little kid. I've been a huge fan forever. Thanks for everything, dude.
Man.
And then thanks for becoming friends and just motivating me in that
Yeah.
sense too.
Fucking
You the
much
man.
pleasure, dude.
Much
Love
love,
both of you
Corey.
guys. Love you guys.
Hell yeah! Thanks so much for coming on the podcast. Any shout outs? You're on United Cinema.
Man,
You got
yeah,
some cool-
United
cool
Cinema
brands you
always
rock
had my
with?
back from the beginning for sure. I'm stoked that they still continue to support me, and then yeah, excited to do some more stuff this year.
Yes,
Oh,
sir.
yeah.
The Christian Regal project, Corey Martinez project, is going to be out in not too long after this podcast drop.
Yeah.
Maybe a couple months or
Yeah,
something.
I would hope this year, definitely. I want it to come out around the. Oh yeah, I should probably say something about this. I am releasing a signature frame, kind of like one last
Oh,
signature
really?
frame.
Cool.
I haven't had a signature frame out. Oop.
Oh, doggy grabbing the headphone. We're doing the trifecta damage here.
buddy boy.
Branson, back up. Out.
Normally Branson's not in the
He's-
podcast, but he's been chilling this whole time,
know.
being a good boy.
Until now. There you go. There you go.
Yeah, so we're gonna re-release. Well, not re-release. We're gonna release a new signature frame that we've been working on. I'm really excited about the graphics and everything, geometry and stuff that we're doing. So that will hopefully be out this year. We don't know exactly if it will be, but I'm pushing for it this year, and I want the video part and the frame and all that to kind of be one thing.
Yeah,
you
cool.
know,
That's
so
awesome.
I'm trying to coordinate all that. Yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
the video part's definitely coming out this year. As long as
I feel like his
there's-
Yeah.
What would happen after you
We-
finish this month? Like,
Right,
it can take
yeah.
9 months to edit. Just the beginning of the year is right now. You're about to wrap this thing up.
Right. So yeah, hopefully both of those things release this year, and that's it. That's kind of what the things to look forward to.
Fuck yeah.
Good
Looking
year.
forward to it.
Hell yeah, Corey, you're the man. Thank
Always
you,
a pleasure,
everyone.
guys. Love you guys.
Peace and love. Thanks for listening to the Unclicked podcast. Till next time.